For the final time in the regular season of 2022, the Evansville Otters and Schaumburg Boomers are set to face in a rubber match this evening to decide the winner of this three-game series. A good evening to you, and welcome inside Wintrust Field in beautiful Schaumburg, Illinois. It is a great night for baseball. We're sitting here in the low 80s, nothing but sun, little tiny bit of breeze, and I tell you what, no more perfect condition for baseball than this right here. I'm Matthew Will, joining you for another edition of Otters Baseball. Evansville's looking to right the ship after a tough night last night. It was a decent start for Bryce Studeville on the mound, the former USI Screaming Eagle. He went 6 full innings, giving up just 3 runs on 6 hits. It was the 4 walks that hurt him a little bit more, as the Evansville Otters could not really match offense for offense on their own side. They were only able to score 1 run in the second, 1 in the 7th. They end up falling 9-2 in the game. Tyler Spring came in there in the 7th inning for the Otters, and in the 7th he gave up 2, in the 8th he gave up 4. And that was really what helped break the back of the Otters. Those 2 runs in the 7th kind of put the game out of reach. Evansville looking to get back on the winning side this evening in the final game between these two. I do have to say, just for my own sake, that it's sad that this is the final game between these two squads. Keep in mind that last night was not a 9-2 game. I mean, for a lot of it, it was 3-1, 3-2. It was a close game, most of it. But then Schaumburg pulled away at the end. And that's how all the games all year have been with these two squads, is they've had a lot of close games. They've had a lot of competitive games. There's been a lot of really good pitching performances. We saw one just a couple nights ago from Austin Gossman, who went 9 full innings. So I'm eager to see how the Otters are able to bounce back and put up a better performance this evening, both offensively and pitching-wise all together. Before we get any further into tonight, I do want to make sure that it is known that today the Frontier League announced that there were additions to the All-Star teams. Austin Gossman has been recognized as a West Division All-Star. He will also be taking the place of Parker Brahms in the series as well, but he was an addition today alongside Chase Dawson on the Schaumburg team. But from all of us here at the Evansville Otters, Austin, we are so proud of you. We know you're going to make Evansville proud next week at the Frontier League All-Star Game. Don't forget that is next week on Wednesday night. You can watch the game on Flow Sports with your Flow Sports subscription, or if you want to head off to Washington, Pennsylvania, tickets are $10 for Upper Bowl, $20 for Lower Bowl, but that's only if you buy ahead of time. So hop over to WashingtonWildThings.com if you're interested in any of that. I want to walk you through this evening's starting lineups. First for the home squad, the Schaumburg Boomers. Leading off and playing designated hitter is Chase Dawson, who is currently being recognized on the field with third base. They're giving him that because last night he hit his 17th triple, which was good for a Frontier League single-season record. Yeah, you heard that right. 17 triples is a single-season record, and we're not at the All-Star break yet. Now he chases the all-time record, which I believe I heard was 36, set in 1915. Obviously, a big congratulations to Chase Dawson for reaching that huge milestone last night. He's leading off. Batting second, the center fielder Brett Milazzo. Batting third, the left fielder Mike Hart. Batting fourth in the cleanup spot is the first baseman Braxton Davidson. And batting fifth is the right fielder Clint Hardy. Batting sixth is the shortstop Alec Craig. Batting seventh, the second baseman William Salas. Batting eighth is the catcher Nick Odo. And batting ninth is the third baseman Cos Canella. The starting pitcher for Schaumburg this evening is Blake Stelzer. And the starting lineup for your Evansville Otters, the Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game, is right fielder Elijah McNamee. He'll be followed by first baseman Zach Bierman and second baseman J.R. Davis. Batting fourth in the cleanup spot is the designated hitter Steven Sinsley. Batting fifth, the left fielder Jeffrey Baez. Batting sixth is the center fielder Miles Gordon. Batting seventh is the third baseman Anthony Torellis. And batting eighth is the catcher Brody Tanksley. Batting ninth is the shortstop Andy Armstrong. Pitching for the Otters this evening, Justin Watland. Tell you what, Justin Watland has had a really good run of form here in the last couple of weeks. We'll get more into that in that top of the first inning as we dig into him a little bit more once he hits the mound. But I tell you what, he was fun to watch in these last couple of weeks, especially his 9-inning complete game at Gateway, and then a masterclass against Florence just last week, where he threw just 2 runs on 3 hits and 7 1/3 innings, striking out 8 in the win against Florence last week. That was the only time the Otters were able to defeat Florence in that series. So it's nice to see him pitch well in that. Really, he's done exceptional in the 3 starts since his rough 2. He had the 2 where he had given up 15 runs on 21 hits, but since then, he's given up 4 runs on 8 hits in 23 innings. I tell you what, he has been a joy to watch up on the mound. We're going to get to see it again this evening. Well, they're just about to send the teams out onto the field for the national anthem this evening. We'll take a break, and on the other side, we've got first pitch between the Otters and the Boomers here from beautiful Wintrust Field in Schaumburg, Illinois. First pitch is next.
Getting ready and keeping fit for baseball season is hard work. That's why you'll find Evan at Be Fit by Bob's. Getting fit, healthy, and well. Be like Evan. Try a free 3-day pass at Be Fit by Bob's.
Cheer up, Evan. This rain will be out soon. You should download the 14 First Alert app and see for yourself. You can see what's coming up to 7 days in advance, or you can break it down hour by hour. Check out live radar so you can see what's happening in real time. And you can watch 14 News live directly from the app. See, there's nothing to worry about.
Stay in the game with the 14 First Alert app.
Welcome to a place that feels like home. A place that cares about all of you. Built to help you grow in more ways than you can possibly imagine. To make new friends, travel new paths, soar to new heights, and deepen your spiritual experience. Welcome to Oakland City University.
Listen up, Evansville Otter fans. Right now, about 100,000 people nationwide are waiting for a life-saving transplant. That's enough people to fill Bosse Field 19 times. And by the time this game ends, 15 people will be added to the national transplant waiting list. Did you also know that if your favorite player injures his ACL, a tissue transplant could provide a complete recovery and put him back in the game? Join the team, be a hero, save a life. Sign up to be an organ donor at donatelifeindiana.org.
Beautiful rendition of our nation's national anthem, and we're ready for baseball here from Schaumburg, Illinois. Another welcome into you. I'm Matthew Will, joining you for another edition of Otters Baseball. The Boomers got the best of the Otters last night, winning 9-2, but I tell you what, the game was much closer than that. It wasn't until the last two innings that Schaumburg really pulled away, scoring 6 in their last two opportunities at the plate. Other than that, the Otters kept it very close for a lot of the game. Let's quickly introduce you to the man on the mound for Schaumburg, Blake Stelzer. Stelzer is a second-year pro out of Concordia St. Paul in NCAA Division III. He is a right-handed pitcher, standing 6'3" up there on the bump. Played for the Southern Illinois Miners last year and is now a part of this Boomers squad. He's 4-2 on the season with a .360 ERA. He's given up 31 runs on 60 hits in 65 innings of work, 70 strikeouts to his name. Behind the plate for him is Nick Odo, the all-time games played leader in Schaumburg Boomers history. A pitcher-catcher battery is sponsored by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road. Or give him a call at 812-475-9000. Let's introduce you to the man he's going to face this evening for the Evansville Otters. Leading off, the Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game, right fielder Elijah McNamee. Batting second is the first baseman, Zach Bierman. Batting third, the second baseman, J.R. Davis. Batting fourth is the designated hitter, Steven Sinsley. Batting fifth, the left fielder, Jeffrey Bias. Batting sixth, the center fielder, Miles Gordon. Batting seventh is the third baseman, Anthony Torrelis. Batting eighth is the catcher, Brody Tanksley. And batting ninth is the shortstop, Andy Armstrong. Big hit Mac, Elijah McNamee, makes his way to the plate, and we're ready for first pitch. For the final time this year between the Boomers and the Otters, Stelzer's ready to go on the mound. McNamee's ready at the plate. The first pitch comes home at 6:35. It's a swinging strike one. It gets us underway. Game time temperature is an absolutely beautiful 79 degrees. Feels like 80. Sun is out, not a cloud in the sky. There's just a little bit of breeze out there blowing in towards the stands. Tell you what, you couldn't have asked for better weather for a baseball game. Pitch way outside, evens the count up, and then McNamee takes a called strike on the low inside corner. He's behind in the count 1-2. The 1-2, swinging strike three, and the game starts off with a strikeout by McNamee. That'll bring up the first baseman, Zach Bierman. Zach Bierman reached base twice last night, or I guess yesterday afternoon. Had an RBI single in the seventh and was hit by a pitch in the first. Righty-lefty matchup here as the lefty Bierman steps in. First pitch to him is a called strike on the inside edge. The slider caught him thinking it was too far inside. 0-1 on the way. Swinging strike two. The changeup on the outside edge had Bierman way ahead of it. Very small shift to the right for Zach Bierman. Here comes the 0-2. Lifted high, foul to the left side, out of play. So we'll have to try again on the 0-2. Blake Stelzer, really quick up on the mound, already ready to go. The 0-2, headed home to Zach Bierman. High and outside for ball one. Let's walk you around the defensive alignment for the Boomers this evening. Hart, Milazzo, Hardy, left to right across the outfield. In the infield, it's Canella at third, Craig at short, Solis at second, Davidson at first. A 1-2 is pushed out towards left center field. Long run for Milazzo at the warning track, and he dives and misses the ball. It gets past him, and Bierman is going to be at second. Now he's plugging towards third. The throw, is it in time? No, it's not. It's a triple for Zach Bierman to lead off this game for the Otters. He just avoided striking out on the last pitch, was able to push a ball away, and now he picks up a triple. As J.R. Davis heads to the plate. The Schaumburg Boomers playing Boomer Sooner across the loudspeakers now. The fight song for OU. First time we've heard that this 3-game set. J.R. Davis with a huge RBI chance here in the first. Runner on third, one out. The first pitch to him. Sent towards the shortstop, Craig. The throw to first is in time, but it won't matter. An RBI fielder's choice for J.R. Davis. And the Otters have already picked themselves up a lead here in the first inning. Huge get for the Otters here. 6-3, the official fielder's choice. But it won't matter. J.R. Davis has given the Otters a very early lead after the Zach Bierman triple. For Zach Bierman, it's his first triple of the season. Maybe continues to rack up the extra base hits. Steven Sinsley at the plate now. 2 outs, nobody on. First offering to him is a hefty swinging strike one. He was just out in front of the off speed. Kind of looked like a slider there. Otters up by 1. Steven Sinsley at the plate with 2 outs and nobody on. The 0-1 is headed his way. It's sent out towards left field. Chasing in his heart. A couple of steps and he brings it in for out number 3. But the Otters turn a 1-out triple into the first run of the game, and Justin Watland's going to get to take the mound with a lead in his back pocket. We head to the bottom half of the first. Otters lead by 1.
Getting ready and keeping fit for baseball season is hard work. That's why you'll find Evan at Be Fit by Bob's. Getting fit, healthy, and well. Be like Evan. Try a free 3-day pass at Be Fit by Bob's.
To the bottom of the first we go. Otters with a 1-0 lead. Justin Watland and the Otters take the field. Justin Watland on the mound. Brody Tanksley behind the plate. That pitcher catcher battery is sponsored by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road, or give them a call at 812-475-9000. Chase Dawson, who set the record for triples in a single season in the Frontier League yesterday, kicks off the batting side of things for the Boomers. Starts with a ball 1 low. Watland kicks and delivers on the 1-0. A called strike evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Justin Watland has thrown 2 complete games this season. That is tied for the most in the Frontier League. As Dawson sends one out towards right center field. Long run for McNamee. He slides and it drops down in front of him. The throwback to first is a bit offline as Dawson had rounded first. They're going to give him a base hit to lead off. A little blooping single that McNamee couldn't get to in time. And Schaumburg kicks things off with a single to right field. It'll bring up the center fielder, Brett Milazzo, who jumped way up to the top of the order after a couple of nights in the 8-hole. I apologize now. I'll keep referring to yesterday as last night. I'm so used to these night games. Yesterday was an 11 a.m. and it's just thrown me off. So if I say last night, I meant yesterday morning. First pitch to Brett Milazzo, the center fielder. It's on the way. It stays a bit low for ball 1. Dawson had himself a good lead over at first. Watland threw a 7-inning complete game at Trois Rivières on May 28th and a 9-inning one at Gateway on July 3rd. A 1-0 headed home to Milazzo. It stays just above the elbows for ball 2. A 2-0 count now. Once the next at-bat begins, we'll run you through the Evansville Otters defensive alignment for the evening. The 2-0 headed home to Brett Milazzo. Called strike on the outside edge. Watland opted to the fastball there. Is a little bit of a breeze tonight. It's blowing straight in from right center field, but not too aggressively. It's probably the least amount of wind we've seen this week. A throw over to first, but Dawson is back in plenty of time. Didn't even have to slide. Watland looks in for the 2-1 decision, and he's ready to go. 2-1 home to Milazzo. Ball's lifted high and foul, out of play to the left side. We'll even get all the way over all of the seating area as well. No souvenir with that one unless you happen to be walking by the stadium. Evens the count up at 2-2. Runner on first and no outs. Here for Schaumburg in the bottom half of the first. The 2-2 is way inside. Tanks is able to keep it in front of him, but the count fills up. Brody Tanksley's got himself quite the welt on one of his legs after keeping a ball in front of him a couple of nights ago. 3-2, there goes the runner. Ball is chopped towards Armstrong at short. He'll pick it up on 2 hops. The throw to first is just in time for a 6-3 fielder's choice. I say Armstrong there, that's because he's playing short. The full defensive alignment for the Otters tonight, Baez, Gordon, McNamee, just like usual, left to right across the outfield. But in the infield, it's Anthony Torellis playing third, Andy Armstrong at short, J.R. Davis at second, Zach Bierman at first, again, Brody Tanksley behind the plate. Mike Hartz, the 3-hole hitter, at the plate now for the Boomers. Enters the game batting .379. He's got a runner on second and 1 out. First pitch to the left fielder, Hart, on the way. It's way inside. Tanks is able to keep it in front of him for ball 1. Don't forget there's still time if you happen to be in the Otters area tonight, in that Evansville area. There's softball tonight. USSSA is having their final night there at Bosse Field. Still time to get over there. The 1-0. Called strike on the high outside corner. Every time Watland's thrown that fastball on the outside edge, he's gotten a called strike. So count's evened up at 1-1 with 1 out and 1 on out at second. Here comes the 1-1 home. Swinging strike 2. Hart was way in front of that changeup. Might have concluded the swing before the ball got home. He takes a couple extra seconds before stepping back in. 1-2 the count for Mike Hart. Runner at second, just 1 out. The 1-2, swinging strike 3. And Justin Watland has his first German-American Bank strikeout on the day. That'll bring up the hard-hitting first baseman, Braxton Davidson. Davidson was the only person to sneak a run past Austin Gossman on the opening night of this series, a 5-1 win for the Otters. He hit a solo home run in the bottom of the 9th inning. Other than that, Gossman had a clean slate. If you missed the pregame segment, Gossman was named a West Division Frontier League All-Star today. Congratulations to him. First pitch to Braxton Davidson on the way home. Zoomed out to right field. Oh, what a catch from J.R. Davis. Climbed the ladder and brought it down with him. And the inning ends with the Boomers stranding a runner on base. We've played 1 full. Otters are up 1-0 here in Schaumburg. To the top of the second inning we go. Otters are leading 1-0. Please, you're joining us on a beautiful Thursday evening from Schaumburg, Illinois. Otters used a Zach Bierman triple and then a J.R. Davis RBI fielder's choice to grab the lead. And then there in the bottom half of the first, tell you what, J.R. Davis kept the game where it was at with a wonderful catch there at second base. While Andy Armstrong's over playing short, Davis said, "Don't worry, Andy, I'll keep spectacular plays rolling here at first." Baez starts with a 1-1 count after a ball outside and a swinging strike. The 1-1 zoomed to the third baseman. Cannella plays it off one hop. The throw to first is in plenty of time for out number one. Otters are wearing their primary blue jerseys up top with the script White Otters written on the front, white numbers on the back. They're wearing the gray pants and blue socks for the individuals that are wearing them high. The hats are the all blues with the script E written on the front and the gray bills. As for the Boomers, they're wearing their primary black jerseys with block Boomers written across the front, white numbers on the back. They've got white pants and the all black caps with the white fronts and orange bills. Miles Gordon starts with a called strike and then a ball just above the elbows. Put him at a 1-1 count here with one out and nobody on. Gordon taking his time there at the plate. And he's actually going to call time and step out for a second. The 1-1 to Gordon. Big curveball stays just a bit high. Man, that was a nice pitch from Stelzer. Two balls, one strike as Miles Gordon waits at the plate. This one stays just a bit inside, and he's ahead 3-1 in the count. The 3-1 swinging strike two has Gordon at a full count. It was foul tipped into the glove of Odo. The 3-2 push to the left side, diving play by Cannella. The throw over to first just in time. That is a wonderful play from Cos Cannella. 2 up, 2 down, both guilty of the 5-3 putout. That'll bring up Anthony Torellis for the first time in this series. He's playing third base this evening. A little bit of a wait for Torellis to get into the box. Looks like Stelzer's already ready up on the bump for Schaumburg. First pitch in is a called strike on the outside edge for Torellis. The 0-1 pushed out foul to the right side. It's going to get out of play and up towards the concourse. A little bit of a wait before the 0-2 to Anthony Torellis. Pitch on the way, and he chases one to the outside edge for a swinging strike three. We've played 1.5. Otters still lead 1-0 here on the Otters Digital Network.
Welcome to a place that feels like home. A place that cares about all of you. Built to help you grow in more ways than you could possibly imagine. To make new friends, travel new paths, soar to new heights, and deepen your spiritual experience. Welcome to Oakland City University.
Otters lead 1-0 as we head to the bottom of the second inning here. Hey, if you don't want to miss any of the Otters information all year long, you can sign up for the Otters e-newsletter by clicking Join Our E-News on the EvansvilleOtters.com homepage. Also, don't forget to follow the Otters on Twitter at Eville Otters, on Instagram at Evansville Otters, and like the Evansville Otters on Facebook. If you do all of that, you will never miss a single piece of information, from post-game recaps to series previews to players getting called up, even player signings and trades. They'll all come straight to your email, or you'll see them there on social media. Clint Hardy ready to kick off the half inning for the Boomers. Watland sends him the first pitch as a swinging strike on a slider that went down and away. Nice pitch there from Watland to give himself an early lead in the count. 0-1 the count towards Clint Hardy. Watland fires at home. It's sent back towards the netting. Quickly an 0-2 count. Last week, Justin Watland was named the Frontier League's Pitcher of the Week there on July 4th. He was the second Otter recognized this year. 0-2 comes way inside and actually hits Clint Hardy on the helmet. And the ball bounces all the way to the Schaumburg dugout. Hardy quickly ran all the way down to first. Everything seems to be all right, but a hit by pitch leads off the second. The home plate umpire, Dominic Longbucco, checks with the Boomers staff to make sure they didn't want to go check on him. Everyone said we're all good. Alec Craig ready at the plate now. First pitch home. Sent sharply to Bierman. To second for one. Back over to first. Is it in time? Yes, it is. A wonderful play there. Worth noting, though, Andy Armstrong did get slid into it short. He's a little favorable as he walks away from it. But he's saying a thumbs up to everyone. That's a great play from Zach Bierman to charge that ball, make a nice backhanded play, fire to second for the one out. And then Watland had charged towards first and was able to beat the runner there for out number 2. Officially a 3-6-1 double play. Brings up William Sauls, who starts off with a called strike. The 0-1 from Watland. Way high and inside. Would have hit Solis in the helmet if he didn't duck under it. Of course, a few weeks ago, when the Otters welcomed the Joliet Slammers to town, Briley Ware, at his very first at-bat, got hit in the back of the helmet by Justin Watland. He ended up sitting out the rest of the series, but that was a fastball. This one was certainly not, more of a changeup, so good to see that Clint Hardy is all right. A pitch high and inside takes the count to 2-1, now in favor of William Solis. Defense playing spread out and straight up on the 2-1, which is foul tipped towards Tanksley. It stays there right in front of him, but regardless, it's a foul tip for strike number 2, and the deuces are wild. I'll tell you what, the Otters have success when their defense turns double plays, and they've already turned that one tonight. The 2-2 to Solis. Swinging strike 3. Justin Watland able to get another German-American Bank strikeout, his second of the day. We've played 2 innings. Otters still leading 1-0 here on the Otters Digital Network, live from Wintrust Field.
Listen up, Evansville Otter fans. Right now, about 100,000 people nationwide are waiting for a life-saving transplant. That's enough people to fill Bosse Field 19 times. And by the time this game ends, 15 people will be added to the national transplant waiting list. Did you also know that if your favorite player injures his ACL, a tissue transplant could provide a complete recovery and put him back in the game? Join the team, be a hero, save a life. Sign up to be an organ donor at DonateLifeIndiana.org.
We've played 2 innings in this one, and the Otters are leading 1-0 after J.R. Davis drove in Zach Bierman after Bierman's 1-out triple in the first inning. Here in the third, we're going to see Brody Tanksley, Andy Armstrong, and Elijah McNamee. Brody Tanksley making his first appearance for the Otters in some time. To find his last opportunity, you have to go all the way back to the 8th of July last week when he started the game against Florence, the last start for Justin Watland. He struck out in all 3 of his opportunities. Starts off with a ball 1 high and away. The 1-0 is pushed foul to the right side, well out of play, and will actually end up towards the parking lot. Tanksley's even at 1-1. Tanksley officially batting 125 on the year, but this is only his 5th appearance of the season. A swinging strike 2 as he was way ahead of the changeup, has him down 1-2 in the count. Defense straight up all the way around for Tanksley as they fire home on the 1-2. High and inside. His count looks even at 2 now. Andy Armstrong due up next for the Otters, regardless of the fate of Tanksley. The 2-2. High outside. Tanksley's going to find himself a full count. Good work there. It's been a good start thus far for Blake Stelzer. His center fielder just misplayed a ball by a tiny bit out there, and that's the difference in this game. 3-2s outside, and Tanksley's going to earn himself first base with a leadoff walk. The fastball just stayed too far in. Now Andy Armstrong's going to get an opportunity with a runner on first and no outs here in the 3rd inning. All the defense playing in double play positioning except for the 3rd baseman Canella, who's playing really far in, expecting the bunts from Armstrong. The first pitch home to the shortstop, Andy Armstrong. He lifts the ball high, foul behind home plate. Is it going to get out of play? It is. It'll end up in the 6th or 7th row over there behind first base. Armstrong playing short this evening instead of his usual second base. Sun is going to have a little bit of an impact here in the next couple of innings. The only place not covered in sunlight right now is home plate, and it's shining from the 3rd base side, so it's right in the first baseman's eyes over there. Tanks has got himself a good little lead. The 0-1 to Andy Armstrong. He shows bunt, puts it right back up the middle. Takes a long time to get a person there. The throw to first is just barely in time. Stelzer was finally the one who played it off the mound, but it took him a while to get to that ball. A successful sacrifice bunt by Andy Armstrong moves the runner. Tanksley now on second with the Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game, Elijah McNamee at the plate. McNamee was a Frontier League All-Star nominee this year, as was his outfield mate, Miles Gordon. The first pitch to McNamee here in this 3rd inning. Sent right back up the middle off the pitcher's mound. A tough play for Solis. The throw to first is in time. That is a wonderful play by the second baseman, Solis. The ball took a weird hop off the pitcher's mound, went straight back up the middle. Solis was able to backhand it, get a good turn, and throw the runner out there at first. Officially 4-3 on the putout. And that'll bring up the first baseman, Zach Bierman, with a runner on 3rd, as Tanksley was able to advance. Bierman has a triple to his name already in this game, thanks to a misplay out in center field. First pitch home. Called strike. Oh, man, that was a good-looking pitch, probably waist high on the outside edge. The 0-1 to the first baseman, Zach Bierman. Ball is sent out towards left center field. Milazzo chasing after it, but it's actually Hart, the left fielder, who will bring it in for out number 3 And the Otters strand a runner at third here in this third inning of play. We've played 2.5. Otters still lead by 1.
Getting ready and keeping fit for baseball season is hard work. That's why you'll find Evan at Be Fit by Bob's. Getting fit, healthy, and well. Be like Evan. Try a free 3-day pass at Be Fit by Bob's.
We're through 2.5 from Schaumburg. Evansville currently holding on to a 1-0 lead after J.R. Davis drove in another run this week. Davis has had quite the last 10 games. He's currently sitting at 7 RBIs in those last 10. First pitch to Nick Odo as he approaches the plate. Long wait for Justin Watland up there on the bump. Finally, the first pitch coming home. Just misses to the outside edge. First time we've seen Watland throw one out there and it didn't hit the zone. So the count heads to 1-0 for Nick Odo. Again, Watland just tries to attack the outside edge and again misses just outside. The 2-0. Broken bat as a ball goes bouncing towards Bierman at first. He'll have to race over there. The dive to tag, and they say he did not get there in time. It's going to be an error on the first baseman. He tried to toss it over to Watland, but Watland didn't make the run over to first, so Bierman had to go diving towards it himself. And because of it, it's going to be an error on Zach Bierman, I believe. He did misplay it for a second there. And yes, indeed, an error on Bierman is how Odo reaches. A lot of frustration out there in those couple of seconds. Otts have to let it go, though. The first pitch to Cos Canella is a called strike right down the middle. Canella just joined this Schaumburg team yesterday, and in his first plate appearance with the Boomers had a ground rule double that drove in 2 runs down the third base line. Count evens up at 1-1 after the inside pitch towards Cos Canella, the third baseman. Watland ready on the 1-1. It sent chopping foul towards the Otters dugout. And hitting coach Bobby Siegel will hop out there and grab the foul ball. One ball, 2 strikes for Cos Canella. Watland sends it home. Big fastball stayed just a hair low. One of the first times we've seen Watland with a straight over-the-top delivery. Really tried to attack the zone. Instead, the count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. There's no outs on a runner at first. The 2-2 sent into fair territory in between center and right. A long run for Gordon. He finally gets to the ball. They're sending the runner home. The relay towards the infield. The throw home is not in time, and it's an RBI double for Canella. So the error there at first base comes back to haunt the Otters, and we are tied at 1 run apiece. Likely going to be a lot of frustration in this Otters team at this point, as it was a combination of a misplay by Bierman at first, as well as a maybe momentary lapse of thinking from Watland to not go over to first and help him out. And the two combined for a runner on first, and now a tying run here in the third. Chase Dawson at the plate now, sends a ball right back into the netting for strike one. Dawson, of course, tied the Frontier League all-time or single-season triple record last week. Broke the record last night. 17 triples on the season for him. The 0-1 coming home. Misses low. It's just under the knees to Chase Dawson on the slider from Watland. Counts even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Watland staring down the runner, Canella, out there at second. And now fires home. 1-1 is sent high and mid-deep to right field. McNamee chasing in. He'll bring it in for out number 1, and there will be no throw needed, as Canella will not try to advance. Center fielder Brett Milazzo to the plate now. He grounded into a fielder's choice his first time up in the game, back in the first. We saw Brett Milazzo in the 9 and 8 hole in the last 2 nights, respectively. Then he makes the jump to the 2 hole this evening. First pitch to Brett Milazzo of this at-bat on the way. Sent right back towards Watland. He'll pick it up. The throw to third. They've got Canella in a rundown between second and third. Torrelas trying to run him down. The tag, is it in time? No, it's not. Everyone will be safe. Torrelas tried to just dive over there and tag the runner out on his way to second. And because of it, both runners will be safe on the fielder's choice. Otters unable to get anyone. That will surely be upsetting for him. So a very tough third inning here for the Otters. First an error, and now this difficult play as they're trying to catch a runner in between second and third, and there's now runners on first and second with just 1 out. Pitch way inside. Mike Hart says it hit him. The home plate umpire, Dominic Longbucko, says no, it didn't. So he'll stay at the plate with a 1-0 count. One ball, no strikes to Mike Hart. Otters playing at double play depth around the infield. 1-0's coming home. I thought it was going to be a strike, but it must have stayed a bit low for Mike Hart. Was just underneath the knees there with the off-speed pitch. The count falls to 2-0 with 1 out and runners on first and second for Schaumburg. The 2-0 again inside, and it's a 3-0 count. Otters need an out here. A walk would load the bases with just 1 out. The 3-0 coming home to Hart. And he's going to earn himself a 4-pitch walk. The bases are loaded with 1 out. At this point, the Otters could have had all 3 outs. Right now, that's not the case. Canella heads to third, Milazzo to second, Hart at first. 1 out, and Braxton Davidson at the plate. That is a huge bat to have up in a scenario like this. Otters really cannot afford to give up a couple of runs here, as they have not played well this year coming from behind in these middle to late innings. First pitch home to Davidson. Bounces in, and it's a wonderful stop from Tanksley to keep it in front of him. Watland taking a little extra time between pitches up there on the bump, making sure he's really ready to go before he fires each pitch home. Bases loaded, 1 out. A 1-0 count to Braxton Davidson. Watland shakes off a couple of pitches, and now he steps off. Watland ready now. 1-0's the count. Still shaking off pitches. Now he nods. Here comes the 1-0. Misses inside, ball 2. And it's been 6 straight balls thrown by Braxton Davidson. Davidson ready on the 2-0. Here comes the pitch. It's foul tipped right back into the netting behind home plate. That's an important strike for Watland to get. He's still behind the count, 2-1. Bases are loaded behind him with 1 out. Davidson, the power hitting lefty, steps back in. Bases loaded, 1 out. The 2-1 to Davidson. Stays inside, and it's ball 3. 7 of the last 8 pitches thrown by Watland have been balls. Davidson takes his time to step back in. This is a huge pitch in this game. The 3-1 to Braxton Davidson with 1 out and the bases loaded. Stays high, ball 4, and a run walks in. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a meeting up on the mound now. And indeed, out comes Max Peterson to have a chat with his pitcher. Looks like the entire infield's going to come in as well. Inning started off with an error on Zach Bierman. He misplayed a ball, and then when he jumped up ready to toss it over to his pitcher at first, Watland wasn't there. Watland was still up on the mound, so Bierman had to go diving towards first base. They say he was not in time, and Odo reached. Then Coscanella doubled in Nick Odo. With Canella out at second, Dawson flew out to right field, and then Brett Milazzo sent one right back at the pitcher, Justin Watland. He opted to get Coscanella in a rundown between second and third. He ended up being safe at second, and with runners on first and second, we saw Mike Hart walk to load the bases, and then Braxton Davidson had an RBI walk just now. Clint Hardy at the plate now, and a pitch way up high. Starts off the count at 1-0. Otters down 2-1 now after that last walk. Watland fires home on the 1-0. That's sent off the edge of the bat towards left field. Baez chasing back. He brings it in for out number 2. The throw towards home will be cut off, and a run's going to score on a sac fly RBI from Clint Hardy. And the lead hits 2 for Schaumburg. Boomers, well, there's no other way to say it, taking advantage of a couple of miscues for the Otters and making them pay. Hart stays at second. Davidson stays at first as Alec Craig comes to the plate with 2 outs. And runners on, of course, first and second. First pitch to Craig. It's a called strike on the inside edge. First time Watland's had a first pitch strike and 4 at-bats. Watland ready on the 0-1. Fires home towards the lefty Craig. Off the edge of the bat, Craig sends it foul behind home plate. It's going to end up in one of the suites, and Bounce over to another one, and there's a nice catch by a fan up there. Craig down to an 0-2 count. 2 outs, runners on first and second. This is a must get out for the Otters to limit the damage done already here in the inning. The 0-2 off the handle of the bat, sent foul to the left side. It's going to end up about 4 rows up in the seating area. No balls, 2 strikes. There's 2 outs and runners on first and second. The 0-2. Oh, it stays just outside. Watland tried to attack with the outside changeup, and it just worked a little too far out. 1 ball, 2 strikes for the shortstop, Alec Craig. Again, the pitch stays outside, and this one evens the count at 2-2 with 2 outs and 2 on. Watland desperately needs to end this inning before any more damage is done. Here comes the 2-2. Sent right back up towards Watland. He plays it into his glove. He'll run it over to first and then underhand it to Bierman for out number 3, but not before 3 runs score for Schaumburg. They've taken a 3-1 lead in this game after 3 innings. To the top of the 4th we go. We'll see J.R. Davis, Steven Sinsley, and Jeffrey Baez in the half inning for the Otters. Evansville stranded a runner at third in the 3rd inning. A 1-0 goes right down the middle for a called strike on J.R. Davis. He's got an even 1-1 count. The 1-1. Swinging strike 2 on a slider that broke away from Davis. Might have even been a changeup with the speed it came home on. Good to see so many of you in the chat here. Please, you're joining us on a Thursday evening here from Schaumburg. Otters trying to now come from behind to get a series concluding win. 1-2 is way inside on Davis and evens his count up at 2 balls, 2 strikes. A little bit of wait for the Otters as Davis steps back in. The 2-2 sent out towards left center field. That's going to drop for a little blooping single to lead off this half inning. So for the 3rd time in 4 innings, the Otters have a man on. And looking to bring him around will be Steven Sinsley and Jeffrey Baez, the next two due up. 2 nights ago, Steven Sinsley had a booming 2-run home run to the right side. And I tell you what, when I say booming, I mean gone. It cleared the wall, it cleared the batting cage, it cleared the road out there in right field. It was a crazy home run. The first pitch to him here in this at-bat, and time is called right before the first pitch is thrown. It was a nice pitch right down the middle, but it will not count as time was called beforehand. Davis has himself a good lead over at first. Defense playing at double play positioning here in the top of the fourth. Steven Sinsley ready at the plate with his wide open stance. The first official pitch to Sinsley. Swinging strike one on a pitch low and inside. The slider moved in on him, and he was a bit ahead of it as well. Oh, 1 the count for Steven Sinsley. He's waiting on the pitch. Finally, it comes home. A foul tip into the glove of Odo, and he's down 0-2 in the count. Really corked around on that swing. Tell you what, this is the best crowd they've had all week, and it's been a very impressive crowd all week long, but this is something else. An 0-2 to Steven Sinsley. Sent high, foul behind home plate. It's going to get out of play. But we'll have to wait once again for an 0-2. Blake Stelzer has been very good in this game. Outside of his center fielder giving up a triple, which gave the Otters their only run, he's been good. The 0-2 to Sinsley once again. Works way inside, gets away from the catcher, Odo. There goes Davis towards second, and he's going to stay put out there. I'm sure it'll be a pass ball that allows Davis to reach. Wild pitch is what they say. Must have been just a bit too far outside for the scorer's liking. So Steven Sinsley ready on the 1-2. Now with the runner in scoring position and no outs. That's really big because it takes away the double play. A 1-2 coming home to Steven Sinsley. And he able to hold his swing back for a high pitch that evens his count up at 2-2. A loud group of kids right underneath me in the 5th or 6th row behind home plate, encouraging their pitcher Stelzer to strike him out. Steven Sinsley trying to avoid that fate. The 2-2 towards the heavy hitting Sinsley. Big curveball stayed up high. Never got the big bite to it that we've seen Stelzer throw earlier in the game. So an 0-2 count for Steven Sinsley has worked its way into a full count, and a wild pitch allowed Davis to reach second and take away the easy double play. So this is a great situation for the Otters. They need Steven Sinsley to find a way on base. The 3-2. Swinging strike three. Sinsley's going to sit down with a strikeout. But on the bright side, his at-bat enabled Davis to reach second base and give the Otters a chance at least. Left fielder Jeffrey Baez makes his way to the plate now. He grounded out to the third baseman his first time up with a hard hit ball. Unfortunately, it was just hit right at the third baseman, Canella. Had it been hit to either side, I think it might have got through, as it was hit really hard, but it was a pretty easy play for Canella to make. First pitch to Baez here. He's on the way, and it's ball one a bit low. Thought that was a good-looking pitch. Surprised it wasn't a called strike. Top of the fourth, Otters trail 3-1, but they've got a runner on second with one out. A 1-0 count to Jeffrey Baez. Baez sends one out towards mid-deep center field. Milazzo chases in. It will not allow J.R. Davis to advance. And unfortunately, it's a unhelpful out for the Otters. They pop out to center field, as it was very shallow center field at that. So with 2 outs and a runner at second, Miles Gordon now makes his way to the plate. In last night's game, Miles Gordon had a 2-hit affair, both his hits coming in the later innings. Miles Gordon was held hitless the night before. First pitch to the lefty, Miles Gordon, is way inside, ball 1. It's a good stop from Nick Odo to keep that pitch from getting away from him. I tell you what, to be a catcher here at Schaumburg, you have to be very good at keeping those pitches in front of you, because the backstop is, well, a good 70 feet behind home plate at least. So it's not only a free base for the base runners, sometimes it could be more. The 1-0 for Miles Gordon. He pushes it foul to the left side. It gets well foul, even out of play. In fact, it just keeps carrying all the way over the awning here towards the road. J.R. Davis stands out at second with 2 outs and a 1-1 count to Miles Gordon. Otters trail by 2 and would love to get themselves 1 run closer. The 1-1 catches the high inside corner. A generous call there from the home plate umpire, Dominic Longbucco. Gordon shook his head in disagreement afterwards, and now he's going to have to fight from behind. 1-2 the count. Otters trying to avoid leaving another man stranded in scoring position. The 1-2 to Miles Gordon. Gordon sends it off the handle of the bat, and it ends up in the concourse. And the count remains at 1-2 Evansville has just 2 hits on the evening. The triple by Bierman and the leadoff single here, the 4th by J.R. Davis. Since, though, he's reached second on a wild pitch and then has stayed there for 2 straight at-bats. The 1-2 for Miles Gordon. And time is called before the pitch can come home. And that's met by some disagreement by the fans here at Wintrust Field. So now Gordon's dug in, and he'll try again at the 1-2. 2 outs, a runner at second. Evansville needs to find themselves another run closer. Here comes the 1-2 to Miles Gordon. It's outside, and the count evens up at 2-2. That was the kicker in last night's loss for Evansville. They left a lot of men stranded. In fact, they had 4 separate innings where they left 2 men in scoring position. You can't win ball games when you do that. And this is an opportunity for the Otters to avoid that same fate. A 2-2 is sent sharply into the dugout of Schaumburg. Luckily, it didn't hit anyone, and the count remains at 2-2 for Miles Gordon. Hope you plan on joining us at Bosse Field this weekend as the Otters welcome the Washington Wild Things to town. First time those 2 squads have met all season long. The top 2 squads in the West Division. Get your tickets at EvansvilleOtters.com. A 2-2 to Gordon, swinging strike 3. And Blake Stelzer gets himself out of the inning despite allowing a leadoff base hit. We've played 3.5 innings. Otters trail by 2. To the bottom of the fourth inning we go. William Salas, Nick Odo, and Cos Canella due up for Schaumburg in the half inning. Otters strand another man in scoring position in that last half inning and trail 3-1 in the game. First offering to Salas is a called strike right across the outside edge. An 0-1. Quick pitch. Oh, looked in the exact same spot, but this one's left alone for ball one. The 1-1 to William Salas. Sharply hit towards the Otters dugout for a foul ball. It's a 1-2 count. By the way, of the 3 runs given up by Watland that last half inning, only one of them is earned due to the error that led off the inning. A 1-2 sent towards Davis at second. He'll play it on 3 hops. The throw to first is in plenty of time for out number 1.
Now batting for the Boomers, catcher number 24, Nick Odo.
Nick Odo, the Schaumburg's Boomers all-time leader in games played, heads to the plate now. And as we progress through this fourth inning, I want to take a look through the Fox Sports WYFX Frontier League scoreboard. 2 finals happened this morning. New York, another masterclass at the plate. 21-4, they defeated Tri-City. Florence fell at Windy City 5-4. First pitch to Odo is shot towards right field. McNamee has plenty of room to play the ball for out number 2, and it's 1 out, or 1 pitch, 1 out to Nick Odo here in the fourth. Quickly 2 up, 2 down as Cos Canella heads to the plate. Canella has been unreal for Schaumburg in his 2 games thus far. In yesterday's game, he had a 2-run double. In this one, an RBI double. Not a bad start to your new squad. In the bottom of the 5th, Joliet at Lake Erie. They are still scoreless. And in the top of the 6th in Quebec, the Capitals lead Empire State 10-1. The first pitch to Canelli shows bunt, pulls away, and it's a called strike. At the bottom of the 4th, in the battle for the Garden State, the Sussex County Miners trail at New Jersey 3-2. And in the bottom of the 6th, Ottawa trails 1-0 at Trois-Rivières. A called strike on a check swing has Canella down 0-2 in the count. Watland looking to close out this inning quickly and with authority. The 0-2. Foul checked into the Schaumburg dugout. Remains 0-2. In the top of the 4th inning, the Gateway Grizzlies currently hold a 3-2 lead against the Washington Wild Things. And in their second game of the day, Florence and Windy City are scoreless in the second. An 0-2 stays high for ball 1 on Cos Canella. It was a challenging pitch that stayed just a tad bit high. He'll try again on the 1-2. Swinging strike 3. Tanksley will tag him out. And it's 3 up, 3 down in the 4th. The first time all game that's been done by Justin Watland. He finishes it off with his 3rd German-American Bank strikeout. We've played 4. Boomers lead 3-1.
Cheer up, Evan. This rain will be out soon. You should download the 14 First Alert app and see for yourself. You can see what's coming up to 7 days in advance, or you can break it down hour by hour. Check out live radar so you can see what's happening in real time. And you can watch 14 News live directly from the app. See, there's nothing to worry about.
Stay in the game with the 14 First Alert app.
We head to the top of the 5th inning here. Otters trailing 3-1. They had an uplifting couple of innings defensively, though. The 2nd and 4th have certainly been bright spots for him, but that 3rd inning defensively is what gave up the 3 runs, 2 of which were unearned due to just little errors throughout the infield. Anthony Torellis will get us started in the top of the 5th. He starts with a ball 1 high. With Torellis, Tanksley, and Armstrong here in the 5th for the Otters. The 1-0. Pitch way outside. Torellis able to lay it off for a ball 2. Torellis was caught swinging at a outside slider his first time up for strike 3. A 2-0. He launches to the foul side of the left side of the outside area. It actually ends up being in foul territory right next to the wall and brought in by Cannella for out number 1. The foul out to the left side starts off this 5th inning. The catcher, Brody Tanksley, now makes his way to the plate. He started off with a hard-earned walk in the 3rd inning. That led off the 3rd. He managed to make it all the way to 3rd before being stranded there on a couple of outs. Sharply hit ball to the right side, through for a base hit for Brody Tanksley. Hit that one off the end of the bat between the 1st and 2nd baseman for a 1-out single. That'll bring up the shortstop, Andy Armstrong. Andy Armstrong has been a lot of fun to watch in recent games. Certainly want to see how much he can keep it going. First pitch to Armstrong. On the way now. It's way outside, ball 1. A good stop by Odo. So we see a little bit of a wait before the next pitch. Runner at first and a 1-0 count to Andy Armstrong. Blake Stelzer fires home on the 1-0. Again, miss. Oh, he doesn't miss to the outside. It was a close pitch, but this one's called strike 1 and evens the count up at 1-1. One ball, 1 strike for Andy Armstrong. A foul tip into the glove of Odo. He was way in front of that ball. He's down in the count 1-2. Armstrong has multi-hit outings in 5 of his last 10 games. The 1-2 sent out towards shallow center field, chasing it is Malazzo, and it's down for a base hit. Back-to-back singles for the Otters with 1 out. Has runners at 1st and 2nd. The Otters trying to claw their way back into this one in the 5th. We head to the top of the order where the Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game, Big Hit Mac, making his way to the plate. If ever there was an opportunity for Elijah McNamee to come through, this is it. 1 out, runners on 1st and 2nd. Evansville needs a little boost, and who better than the right fielder McNamee? The first pitch to him bounces in and gets away from Odo, but not far enough that anyone can advance. It's ball 1 on the outside. A real shame the Otters won't get a play here again, at least in the regular season this year. This is a gorgeous ballpark here at Wintrust Field. In 2020, it was used as the Chicago White Sox alternate site. That really helped keep this place nice. Some of the nicest field conditions I've seen. A 1-0 to Elijah McNamee. A half swing. Did he go? No, he did not, says the first base umpire, Matt Beaver. And it's a 2-0 count now for Elijah McNamee with runners on 1st and 2nd and 1 out. Tanksley stands at 2nd. Armstrong at 1st. Armstrong has a huge lead at 1st. 2-0 the count to Elijah McNamee. The pitch is headed his way. It's a called strike on the outside edge. Tell you what, Dominic Longbucko has been very generous with the outside edge to both pitchers so far tonight. And certainly we've seen Blake Stelzer take advantage of that fact. A 2-1 to McNamee. Is on the way now. Sent right back up the middle, down for a base hit. Are they going to hold Tanksley? They will. The throw home was an accurate one, so it's a good decision to do so. But the bases are loaded with 1 out. Back to back to back singles for the Otters have loaded the bases here in the 5th inning with 1 out. Zach Bierman at the plate. If there was ever a time for Zach Bierman to hit himself out of his little slump he's been in, batting .206 in his last 10 games, this would be the time to do it. Need I remind you that Bierman had a 3-home run game the last time the Otters played here about a month ago. McNamee at first, Armstrong at second, Tanksley at third, and Zach Bierman at the plate. The first pitch to him. Launched towards right field, but it's right at Hardy, but it drops in front of him. 1 run's going to score, and everyone will just move forward 90 feet, and the Otters trail by 1. I tell you what, off the bat, that looked like it was going straight for Hardy. It got to the outfield air and just died in front of him. We've seen that happen numerous times in this series thus far for both squads. But an RBI single has brought the Otters within 1. It's back-to-back to back-to-back singles. J.R. Davis, who was responsible for the RBI the first time the Otters grabbed a run in this game, at the plate now. Bases loaded, 1 out. Otters could take the lead with a good hit here. The first pitch from Stelzer on the way. Outside, ball 1. Long Bucko not too favorable on the outside edge that time, although that one was a few inches further out than the ones he's typically been calling. 1-0 the count to J.R. Davis with 1 out, the bases loaded. The 1-0 called strike on the low inside corner. And I think Davis knew right away that was a good pitch for him. Bierman at first, McNamee at second, Andy Armstrong at third. 1 out and a 1-1 count for J.R. Davis. Pitch coming home. Sent right back up the middle, down for a base hit. 1 run's going to score, and they're going to hold McNamee at third. Again, a good decision as that arm of Milazzo in center is rock solid. But the Otters have tied the game at 3 with 5 straight singles with 1 out here in the 5th. Well, I tell you what, Brody Tanksley is the one who started the engine on the bus. But since then, Armstrong, McNamee, Bierman, and Davis have all kept the bus moving. And there's going to be a meeting on the mound for all of the Boomers. Exactly what the Otters needed in this game. You know, we've seen them multiple times this year get to these middle innings, and if they're down by 1 or 2 or even 3, they really struggle to come back in the games. As you know, usually the Otters are a back-ended team, have a lot of offense in the back end. But here in the last couple of weeks, if they're down by the 5th inning, it's hard for them to come back. This is really uplifting. 5 straight singles have kept the bases loaded and brought in 2 for the Otters. They tie the game at 3. And watch out, Steven Sinsley at the plate. Sinsley's got the bases loaded in front of him. Just 1 out. The first pitch to Steven Sinsley. Sent on the ground towards the first baseman who backhands it. The throw home's in time, and that's the only out they'll get, a force at home. Make sure that the Otters do not add a run. Officially, it's 3-2 on the putout. A fielder's choice that allows Sinsley to reach. Still 2 outs, still bases loaded, and now 2 outs. As Jeffrey Baez heads to the plate, he has a ground out and a pop out so far in this game. Bierman stands on third. Davis stands on second. Sinsley stands on first. Jeffrey Baez at the plate with a 2 out first pitch coming home. Skies a ball in the infield, and it looks like the Boomers are going to get out of this. Right underneath it is Salas. He brings it in for out number 3. But not before the Otters score 2 runs on 5 straight singles and have tied the game at 3 runs apiece. We're halfway through this ball game. Otters tie the game at 3 runs apiece. Bottom of the 5th, coming at you next on the Otters Digital Network. Well, we've just passed the center point energy center point of the game. And right before it, Evansville was able to tie the game at 3 runs apiece, scoring a pair of runs in that 5th inning. Now the defense has just got to help out Justin Watland and keep the game right where it's at. Watland got his first 3 up, 3 down inning there in the 4th and looks to carry that across at this point. Watland sitting at 62 pitches. The first pitch home is ball up high. To start off a 1-0 count to the leadoff man, Chase Dawson, who's 1 for 2 in the game. The 1-0 is a called strike right down the middle. Dawson shakes his head right afterwards. Probably knew that he missed an opportunity. A pitch just missing on the high outside corner. Sends the count to 2-1. The 2-1 home. Watland moving very quickly, and that one looked like a good strike, but it must have stayed just above the elbows to take the count to 3-1. The 3-1 coming home from Watland. Stays low for ball 4, and it's a leadoff walk to Chase Dawson. Leadoff walks can always haunt a pitcher. Now the Otters defense will hope to help out their pitcher and not let this one do the same. Brett Milazzo makes his way to the plate. Reached on a fielder's choices last time and then came around to score. First pitch home, he showed bunt and it stayed high and away for ball 1. In all seriousness, the Otters really shouldn't have allowed any runs in that last half inning, but an error just kind of set the table for a tough inning. A 1-0 coming home to Milazzo. There goes the runner. Ball is skied towards left field. Baez chasing towards it, and he makes the catch as he runs into the rain tarp over there, and having to run all the way back to first is Dawson. Officially, it's a foul out to left field, but only by a foot or so. That'll bring up Mike Hart, who walked his last time up and is 0 for 1 on the day with a strikeout. Watland now pitching out of the stretch, of course, with a runner on. He's going to throw back over to first, but Dawson's back in plenty of time. The sun is officially down beneath the outlying parts of the stadium, and we are now using the stadium lights more than the sun at this point, as the final day of baseball for the Otters here in Schaumburg, Illinois begins to close out. Hart takes a pitch outside for ball 1. Quickly, Watland's ready for the 1-0, but instead he fires over to first as Chase Dawson's back in time. Defense set up in double play positioning in the infield, fairly deep in the outfield. Wind continues to blow in from right center field. A 1-0 to Mike Hart, stays high for ball 2. Watland has been most effective on the outside edge of the plate, but only when Dominic Longbucco's given him those pitches. There has been a couple innings that Longbucco has been generous with the outside edge and a couple where he has certainly not been. A 2-0. Not a called strike. That one must have graced a little bit too low. Watland having to deal with a shrunken strike zone from the last half inning, as the last two pitches would have been called strikes in his last inning. A 3-0 is left alone for ball four. A successful check swing from Mike Hart now has runners at first and second with one out.
Now batting for the Boomers, first baseman, number 19.
Both runners here in this inning have reached on the walk. Brody Tanksley is stepping up to deliver a sign to all of his infielders. There's runners at first and second with one out. Otters desperately need a couple easy outs, or most nicely a double play, just to get him out of this inning and keep things going in the right direction. Watland ready on the first pitch to Braxton Davidson. It's on the way home now. Swinging strike one. Davidson wanted 3 runs with that swing, but he was just behind it. Davidson got robbed of an RBI in the first inning, on a line out to J.R. Davis. Then had an RBI walk his last time up in the third. The 0-1 bounces in. A good stop from Tanksley to keep it in front of him. Count evens up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Otters are out hitting the Boomers right now, 7-3. Of course, that's helped out by their 5 straight singles they had in the last inning. 1-1 the count to the heavy-hitting Braxton Davidson. Pitch is on the way towards him. Skies it towards left field. Baez chasing towards it. He's parked underneath for out number 2. Neither runner will advance, and it's out number 2. Runners at first and second now.
Now batting for the Boomers, right fielder, number 25.
Ball looked really good off the bat, but it died once it got to the outfield, as we've seen a lot of balls die here in the outfield in this 3-game set. Clint Hardy makes his way to the plate. Runners on first and second, 2 outs. Hardy has reached on a hit by pitch in the game and scored a run on a sac fly RBI. His sac fly RBI is the only earned run so far in the game. First pitch stays low, ball 1. We've seen Watland keeping his fastball between 85 and 89 tonight. I think I've only seen 1 or 2 89s. Most have been between 85 and 88. But it's been effective. The 1-0. Skied out towards left. Baez chasing back towards the warning track, and about 5 feet in front of the warning track brings it in for out number 3. We've played 5 full innings. We are tied at 3 runs apiece here on the Otters Digital Network. A gorgeous night for baseball here in Schaumburg, Illinois. To the top of the 6th inning we go. Otters are going to lead off with Miles Gordon, Anthony Torellis, and Brody Tanksley. Evansville was able to tie the game up in that 5th inning, scoring 2 runs on 5 straight singles. They're going to need a little bit of the same here to grab themselves a lead, hopefully one that they can hold on to. As we enter the inning, Blake Stelzer is at 74 pitches, make it 75 with a called strike to lead off this inning. Both starters doing pretty well to keep their pitch counts down. An 0-1 is fouled back towards the netting. And back in the count 0-2 now is Miles Gordon, the lefty. Gordon's 0 for 2 with a ground out to the third baseman. It was a wonderful play by Cannella, by the way, but still unfortunate for him. And they also had a strikeout in the 4th inning. Trying to avoid that same fate here on the 0-2. Pushed foul back towards the netting, and it will end up behind home plate. Excited to hear the attendance number tonight because this is a wonderful crowd here in Schaumburg. The 0-2 to Gordon. Stays a bit inside. That is a very close pitch, one that we have seen called strike many times tonight. Miles Gordon is lucky he's getting an extra opportunity at the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The center fielder, Miles Gordon. It's on the way. Again inside, this one much lower. The count's evened up at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Schaumburg enters the game at 6.5 games back in the West Division, 5.5 back of second place Evansville. Ball sent right up the middle over the extended arm of Craig at short, and it is a leadoff single for Miles Gordon here in the 6th inning. First hit of the ball game for Miles Gordon. And now there is just 2 Otters who have not reached base safely in the game. One of them, Anthony Torellis, who makes his way to the plate now. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a foul out. His foul out preceded the 5 singles in that last half inning. Torellis did not play the last 2 nights in this series or the final game of the Florence series. Have to go all the way back to Saturday night to find his last game. He shows bunt and gets a called strike. He turns back towards home plate umpire Dominic Longbucko and says, "Are we sure? Where exactly was that one?" Then he nods his head in agreement. Gordon's on first. Torellis at the plate with an 0-1 count. No outs here in the 6th inning. Torellis not showing bunt. He pushes a ball out towards right field. It's going right towards Hardy, and he'll bring it in for out number 1. We've seen a lot of balls die on their way out towards right field. That one did not. So Brody Tanksley, the one who started the 5-hit rally for the Otters in the 5th, at the plate now. He's 1 for 1 with a single and a walk so far in the game. First pitch home to Brody Tanksley, and instead they're going to go check on Miles Gordon, who's back in time, slid in just before the tag. Again, so happy to see so many of you joining us here on the Otters Digital Network on a beautiful Thursday evening for baseball. Now the first pitch to Tanksley. Sent sharply foul to the left side towards the Otters dugout, and George Khalil makes a nice grab leaning over the dugout wall there. George Khalil with a routine off day this evening. That's why Andy Armstrong is playing shortstop. 0-1, the count to Brody Tanksley. They're going to go check on Gordon again. And again, Gordon's back in time, sliding in just before the tag. Otters play Washington tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday to finish off their pre-All-Star break schedule. We'd love to see you out at Bosse Field this weekend. An 0-1 to Tanksley. There goes Gordon towards second. The throw out looks good, but it was so high. Oh, no, they say he was tagged out. I thought that was so high there was no way he got the tag down in time. Gordon's arguing it, and it looks like Andy McCauley is as well. but it's a failed stolen base attempt for Miles Gordon. He's arguing it. Andy McCauley's arguing it. And Miles Gordon's been tossed from the game, as he was questioning why on his way back to the dugouts. He's been tossed, and now Andy McCauley is trying to stand up for him, giving his piece as well. Otters are going to have to make a defensive change now, as Miles Gordon has been tossed from the game, and now Andy McCauley's been tossed from the game. And J.R. Davis comes running out, pulling Miles Gordon away, trying to keep him out of the discussion out there. Now Andy McCauley is letting Brandon Spivak know it over there at the third base umpire positioning. Both Miles Gordon and Andy McCauley have just been tossed from the game after Miles Gordon was called out trying to steal second. Andy McCauley still giving Brandon Spivak everything he can. They've walked almost all the way to second base together. McCauley still filling the ears of Brandon Spivak. He's turned back 3 or 4 times to keep stating his piece. So on a failed stolen base attempt by Miles Gordon that looked like he was in safe, but he was called out on, Miles Gordon and Andy McCauley have both been tossed from the game, arguing the call. Now you can probably hear the boos raining down from Wintrust Field. Gordon has gathered his belongings, and he's about to meet Andy McCauley to head on back to the clubhouse here. McCauley's going to hand off his stuff to Max Peterson, and then Bobby Siegel's going to become the new third base coach. So that'll end the night for Miles Gordon and Andy McCauley. And they have to go through the tunnel right here behind home plate, right in the middle of all the fans, and Andy McCauley giving waves to the fans here. So there's 2 outs, nobody on now as Brody Tanksley's at the plate. A lot of excitement there. The 0-2 to Tanksley stays up high for ball 1. One ball, 2 strikes for Brody Tanksley with 2 outs and nobody on here in the 6th. A swinging strike 3 ends things. The Otters, who had led off with a single here in the 6th, unable to do anything with it. We'll let you know the defensive changes for you right after this on the Otters Digital Network. Still tied at 3. Well, a lot of changes for the Otters following the ejections of both Miles Gordon and Andy McCauley. Nothing much changes with the coaching positions, except Bobby Siegel is now the third base coach. But a ton of changes defensively. Jeffrey Baez is going to move to center. J.R. Davis is going to take over in left. Andy Armstrong is going to take over at second. And manning short is now George Khalil. George Khalil will go into the sixth hole of Miles Gordon's to bat. That should be all we need for all of the changes. Again, 2 ejections in that top of the 6th inning, both Andy McCauley and Miles Gordon. The 1-1 to Alec Craig bounces in for ball 2. And now we just hope that this little piece doesn't negatively affect the Otters. A 2-1 to Craig. Stays just over the elbows, and it's a 3-1 count now. As Watland tries to start off this inning more favorable than the last. A 3-1 is a called strike, just probably belly button high, just above the belt. Time is called to the plate by Craig. Still tied at 3 runs apiece. Couldn't ask for a better finale between these two teams this season. A 3-2 to Craig. Swinging strike 3, but it got through the legs of Tanksley, so they're going to have to do it again. Watland so close to ending the count. We'll try again on the 3-2 to Alec Craig. And it is ball 4, a bit low. What could have been a strikeout is going to actually be a leadoff walk for the second straight inning. That'll bring up William Solis. Solis is 0 for 2 with a ground out to second base and a strikeout so far on the game. First pitch to Solis, stays low, ball 1. A good stop behind the plate by Tanksley. One ball, no strikes for the second baseman, William Solis. There goes the runner. The throw out to second looks good, but this one is not in time, as Alec Craig has got himself a stolen base. It's the first one of the night for the Boomers. So the double play taken out of order now as a 2-0 comes home to Solis. A called strike on the high inside corner with the fastball there from Watland. Gets him in the strike category. Khalil playing in the gap between second and third. Very deep. Armstrong trying to keep the runner close at second. Bierman manning first all alone over there. And Torrales playing insignificantly at third. A dive. Oh my goodness, what a play from Torrales. It was a bunt for Solis, and Torrales came charging in, diving towards it, and is able to limit the sacrifice bunt. My goodness. Anthony Torrales taking a page out of Andy Armstrong's book. In fact, fantastic infield defensive plays. It's good for out number 1, and more importantly, it keeps the runner at second. That'll bring up Nick Odo to the plate. Reached on an error in the third, came around to score. First pitch home to him. Sent right back up the middle. Takes a funky hop. Picked up by Khalil. The throw to first is in time. George Khalil makes a fantastic play in his first call to action so far in this game. Stop me if you've heard this before. Back-to-back plays, the Otters defense is saving them. Cause Canella makes his way to the plate now. Boy, has he been a force to deal with for Schaumburg in these couple of nights that he's been a part of the Boomers team. Already has an RBI double in this game. First pitch home to Canella. is sent foul back towards the netting behind home plate. And immediately, Watland gets himself ahead in the count. No action in either pin. Both starters playing exceptionally so far tonight. The 0-1 for Justin Watland. Sent home towards Cause Canella. This one skied out towards center field. Long run for Baez. And he makes the catch. Had to go a long way, but he's able to haul it in. And the inning ends. Evansville does not let a leadoff walk affect them. And we head to the 7th. Still tied at 3. Great game coming at you here on the Otters Digital Network. The back third coming at you next. Don't go anywhere.
Listen up, Evansville Otter fans. Right now, about 100,000 people nationwide are waiting for a life-saving transplant. That's enough people to fill Bosse Field 19 times. And by the time this game ends, 15 people will be added to the national transplant waiting list. Did you also know that if your favorite player injures his ACL, a tissue transplant could provide a complete recovery and put him back in the game? Join the team, be a hero, save a life. Sign up to be an organ donor at donatelifeindiana.org.
And welcome into the back third of this game. I tell you what, you couldn't ask for anything better in the final game of the season between these two teams. We've seen this all year long. Entertaining games from these two squads. It is an absolute shame they don't play each other in the back half of the season. But we hope that we get to see the two face off in a playoff series potentially in September. The 7th inning, we'll start off with Andy Armstrong, now the second baseman. And then Elijah McNamee and Zach Bierman. First pitch is outside for ball 1 for the second baseman, Armstrong. Armstrong's 1 for 1 with a single in the 5th, a sacrifice bunt back in the 3rd. Ball sent right back behind home plate. The count's even up at 1-1. Armstrong ready on the 1-1. Ball sent to the right side. It's well foul. Count evens up at 1-1. Armstrong back in the count now, 1-2. We do see an arm starting to warm up for Schaumburg down in the right field bullpen. The 1-2 outside, and the count evens up for Andy Armstrong. Second baseman Armstrong has become quite the consistent bat. In fact, he only has 2 games in his last 12 without base hits. The 2-2 for Armstrong. Cranked right back up the middle. Going to be a hard play for Salas. The ball comes into his chest, and his throw to first is off the mark. So Armstrong's going to reach first. Was a tough play. We'll see if they decide to count it as a base hit or an error. Took a weird hop. And they are going to award Armstrong with a base hit. It's his second hit of the game. And go ahead and give Armstrong another multi-hit game. He's up to 11 of them on the year. Big hit Mac at the plate now with no outs and a runner at first. McNamee at the plate. His last time up, he had a single as part of the 5 in a row. Pushes one to the right side, through for a base hit. Armstrong, is he going to stay at second? Yes, he will. And it's back-to-back singles here to start off the 7th for the Otters. That's good for base hit number 10 on the day for Evansville. And it brings Zach Bierman to the plate. He's already got 2 hits, an RBI single, and a triple. Bierman coming to the plate with 2 on, no outs. Big chance for the Otters here. First pitch home. Called strike on the high outside corner. That's been another one of those locations that's just been 50-50 tonight. You never know what Longbucko's going to call a strike. That was right near the elbow line. This one's a called strike for Bierman. 0-1 heading his way now. That one stays significantly low. The count evens up at 1 ball, 1 strike. We get to see Zach Bierman play next Wednesday night in the Frontier League's All-Star game. He's going to be an outfielder for the West Division squad. And if you're saying outfielder for Zach Bierman, why is that? Well, he has played a few games in the outfield, 7 in left field to be exact. The 1-1. He sends it right back into the netting as his count falls to 1-2. I would just about bet the ranch on it that Blake Stelzer is going to give Bierman a pitch to chase here. Whether it's low or outside, it's going to be out of the strike zone, and he's going to want Bierman to go chase after it. We see it almost every time with Zach. The 1-2. Pitch actually stays high and in. And it was very close to a strike. In fact, it looked really close to where the first strike called was in this at-bat. But it's left alone for ball 2, and the count evens up. That's a good take for Bierman. 2-2 count with 2 on and no outs here in the 7th inning. Long wait from Stelzer on the mound. If he allows a base hit, it could be his last at-bat of the game. The 2-2 to Bierman. Sent high towards left field. Chasing way back is Hart. Back towards the warning track, and it actually makes it in fairly shallow territory. No one will advance on the fly out for Bierman. To bring up J.R. Davis with 2 on and 1 out. Davis has himself a 2-hit game, 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and 2 singles. Looks like Jacob Bowles is starting to throw for the Otters down in left field. He could be popping in the 7th inning. But first, looks like we could have a pitching change for the Boomers. Indeed, we will. We'll let you know who it is right after this. 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Otters have a couple on, and Schaumburg decides it's time to make a change. We'll let you know who it is right after this.
Listen up, Evansville Otter fans. Right now, about 100,000 people nationwide are waiting for a life-saving transplant. That's enough people to fill Bosse Field 19 times. And by the time this game ends, 15 people will be added to the national transplant waiting list. Did you also know that if your favorite player injures his ACL, a tissue transplant could provide a complete recovery and put him back in the game? Join the team, be a hero, save a life. Sign up to be an organ donor at donatelifeindiana.org.
Welcome to a place that feels like home. A place that cares about all of you. Built to help you grow in more ways than you can possibly imagine. To make new friends, travel new paths, soar to new heights, and deepen your spiritual experience. Welcome to Oakland City University.
With 1 out and 2 on, Schaumburg decides to make a pitching change. Christian Scott will come in out of the bullpen. This call to bullpen is presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. Scott on the mound. Odo behind the plate. The pitcher catcher battery is sponsored by The Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at The Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road, or give them a call at 812-475-9000. J.R. Davis ready for the first pitch home for his at-bat and the first pitch of Christian Scott's day. And time is called as a warm-up pitch. Well, it wasn't a warm-up pitch. It was actually a ball being thrown around by the kids on the berm out there, ended up on the field. So Davis now is ready for his first pitch of the at-bat. Long wait from Scott. First pitch is coming home. It's outside, ball 1 to J.R. Davis. Otters trying to make something of this half inning to give themselves another lead. They haven't led since their 1-0 lead in the third. A 1-0 to J.R. Davis. Again, a pitch outside. Good lead from McNamee there at first. Armstrong has a pretty good one at second as well. They're trying to keep Armstrong close. They're not really trying to keep McNamee close. Runners on first and second. The 2-0 to Davis is way inside, and he's staring at a 3-0 count in his favor. Jacob Bowles continues to ready for the Otters. Almost certain that he will be entering the game in the bottom of the 7th in place of Justin Watland. The 3-0 to Davis. Stays low for ball 4. The bases are loaded with just 1 out here in the 7th. First batter face for Christian Scott. Sees a 4-pitch walk. That'll bring Steven Sinsley to the plate with the bases loaded and 1 out. Sinsley is 0 for 3 with a fielder's choice, a flyout, and a strikeout. Long way to Sinsley heads to the plate. Finally, he steps in. Gets that wide open batting stance he always has. Looks up at Scott. First pitch home. Inside, ball 1 to Steven Sinsley. 5 pitches, all 5 balls thus far for Christian Scott. Christian Scott, for the most part, has been a good reliever for the Schaumburg team this year. Hails a 2.70 ERA. The 1-0. Sinsley grounds one foul to the right side. Will end up near the Schaumburg dugout. Scott's appearing in his 23rd game of the season. He's struck out 23 in 23 and a third innings, giving up 10 runs on 18 hits. The 1-1 for Steven Sinsley is fouled back into the catcher, Nick Odo. He'll take a second to regroup. That one came ferociously into the inside of his right leg. I think caught him right next to his leg pads. He's walking good now, though. Steven Sinsley at the plate's looking at a 1-2 count with the bases loaded and just 1 out here at the top of the 7th inning. We're still tied at 3 runs apiece. Christian Scott ready on the mound. The 1-2 coming home. Stays low for ball 2. It kind of looked like Dominic Longbucko was going to rip his right arm back for a called strike 3, but instead it is all left alone for ball 2. The count evens up at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Two coming home to Sinsley. Swinging strike 3. It's the second strikeout of the day for Sinsley. First one for Scott. There's now 2 outs with the bases loaded, and Jeffrey Baez heading to the plate. Baez has had 2 different opportunities with runners in scoring position and 2 outs in this game. And he's popped out on both occasions, one in the infield, one in the outfield. Jeffrey Baez ready for his first pitch of this huge at-bat. And stepping off is Christian Scott. Davis stands on first, McNamee out at second, Armstrong at third. Pitch comes in outside for ball 1. And we'll have to sit here and wait for a second before the next pitch comes home. The 1-0 to Baez. Swinging strike 1 on a pitch that just broke low and away from him. That's a nice pitch from Christian Scott. The slider just kept running away. Scott shakes off a couple of pitches, now nods. Here comes the 1-0, or 1-1 towards Baez. He checks his swing. They check down and say, yes, he did. And he's ahead in the count 2-1. If ever the Otters were going to grab themselves a lead, this has got to be it. Bases loaded, 2 outs, top of the 7th, and Jeffrey Baez at the plate with a 2-1 count. Pitch stays low and outside, and Baez is ahead 3-1. He's potentially 1 pitch away from giving the Otters a lead with a RBI walk. But he certainly cannot expect a ball to be thrown. Bases loaded, 2 outs, top of the 7th, and a 3-1 count to Jeffrey Baez. Pitch on the way home. Sent out towards right center field. It's well hit out there towards the gap, and it's brought in by Hardy for out number 3. The Otters leave the bases loaded for the second time tonight. Then we head to the bottom half of the 7th. Still tied at 3 from Schaumburg.
Getting ready and keeping fit for baseball season is hard work. That's why you'll find Evan at Be Fit by Bob's. Getting fit, healthy, and well. Be like Evan. Try a free 3-day pass at Be Fit by Bob's.
We go to the bottom of the 7th, and we have 2 changes for the Otters. A BCS call to the bullpen, as Jacob Bowles is going to enter the game to pitch. This call to the bullpen is presented by our friends at BCS. Contact Business Communication Solutions for all your business solution needs. Behind the plate, Justin Felix. He'll replace Brody Tanksley here as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. This call to the bullpen is presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions, of course. Bulls on the mound, Felix behind the plate. That pitcher catcher battery is sponsored by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road. Give him a call at 812-475-9000. Very first pitch to Dawson, and he lines it right at Zach Bierman. And it's an easy one pitch, one out to kick off the seventh. That'll bring up Brett Milazzo, who is 0 for 3, 2 fielder's choices and a foul out. But his fielder's choice in the third, he reached and came around to score. Otters playing without their manager, Andy McCauley, and their center fielder, Miles Gordon, who were both ejected in the the top of the sixth inning, arguing a caught stealing call. First pitch to Milazzo works well inside for ball one. We're still tied at 3 runs apiece in this game. The Otters have stranded 3 runners on, with the bases loaded, of course, in 2 of their last 3 innings. 1-0 sent foul to the left side. And the count evens up at 1 ball, 1 strike for Brett Milazzo, the Schaumburg center fielder. Jacob Bowles readies himself up on the bump and fires home on the 1-1 to Brett Milazzo. Looked like a good pitch, right at elbow level, but it must have stayed a bit outside, I'm guessing, for ball 2. Defense is played with a bit of a shift out of the outfield. 2-1 the count for Brett Milazzo. The pitch coming home. Called strike on the outside edge. That one looked worse than the last pitch, but I'm sure Bowles will take it. Count evens up at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bowles throws home a 2-2, and it's fouled away. The low inside pitch was chased by Milazzo. He did just enough to keep himself alive in the count. No doubt that Bowles wanted to try to get him to swing right over the top of it. We just passed the 2-hour mark of this ball game, so we're here in the back third of the game. A 2-2 to Brett Milazzo. Big curveball stayed way outside. Didn't really bite the way Jacob Bowles wanted it to. First time we've seen the curveball thrown in this half inning. Brett Milazzo looking at a 3-2, and again, Bowles misses way outside. And it's a 1-out walk for the Schaumburg Boomers. That'll bring up the left fielder, Mike Hart, who has already walked twice today, though both times he's been stranded out there on the base paths. Turned into a gorgeous night here in Schaumburg. We've currently got a temperature of 71 with a light breeze, nothing but clear skies all evening long. Mike Hart starts with ball 1 low and outside. There's a runner on first and 1 out. Otters are in double play positioning, of course. The throw over to first is a bit wide, still able to be grabbed by Bierman. They just can't apply any sort of tag towards Brett Milazzo. A 1-0 coming home to Hart. Zooms one into right field, down for a base hit in front of McNamee. There are runners on first and second now with 1 out here in the 7th inning for the Boomers. Dangerous opportunity now for Schaumburg. Schaumburg has had base runners in all but 1 inning this game, yet that was only their 4th base hit. There's been a lot of walks handed out here and there. Braxton Davidson at the plate now with runners on first and second. 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. Kind of feels like a next run win situation. The first pitch home to Braxton Davidson. Stays a bit low and outside for ball 1. You know, this isn't the first time we've seen Jacob Bowles start an outing like this, giving up a walk and or hits and letting a couple runners on. A lot of the time he does see himself out of it. But it's certainly not the first time we've seen him kick off an outing this way. Just have to hope that the Otters defense can help him out. A 1-0 coming home. Called strike right down the middle. Davidson just missed out on a beautiful pitch. I heard some fans around yelling, or I heard a couple boos and heard the word ump. I hope they're not complaining on that last call. That one was one of the best pitches we've seen Bowles throw so far. The 1-1 to Braxton Davidson. Stays way inside, and Davidson now takes a 2-1 lead. A little bit of a wait for Davidson to step back in the box. He's got runners on first and second in front of him with 1 out. Otters are in double play positioning around the infield. Also shifted a bit to the right. 2-1 to Davidson. Swinging strike 2. He was in front of that changeup from Jacob Bowles. Davidson finally steps in, ready for the 2-2. Bowles taking his time up on the bump. And time is called at the plate by Davidson. Didn't like sitting there that long. Otters have a shift in both the infield and outfield to the right side a little bit for Braxton Davidson, respecting the pull of his hitting. 2-2 is the count for Braxton Davidson with runners on first and second and just 1 out. The 2-2 misses inside, and it's a full count. Otters trying to stay patient and find themselves a couple of outs. Bowles looking in for his 3-2 as he toes the rubber with his right foot. Still looking in, finally nods. A 3-2 pitch coming home to Braxton Davidson. Misses low and inside, and the bases are loaded. After picking up a leadoff out, Bowles has allowed a walk, single, then walk, and loaded the bases. That's going to cause a meeting up on the bump by Max Peterson, the Otters pitching coach, and his entire infield. At least right now, there's nobody warming up for the Otters. But I did see Devin Buckner with his pads on, so he might be heading down to help warm someone up. Still talking up there on the mound is Peterson and his infielders. Now he walks away, and the infield all pass the Rosenbag around once and all return to their respective locations. Indeed, Devin Buckner is heading down towards the bullpen for the Otters, so we might see someone start to throw. Clint Hardy at the plate. He's 0 for 1 on the game with a fly out, a sac fly, and a hit by pitch. He's got the bases loaded in front of him with 1 out. First pitch home. Zoom down the third base line, but just foul. Tell you what, had that snuck inside the line, pretty sure Torales would have kept it in front of him. I don't know if the Otters would have been able to turn 2 off of it, though. It was very hard hit. Would have been a hard play for Torales to keep in front of him. But it's all what ifs at this point, as it's just a long strike. Now the 0-1 comes home to Clint Hardy. Works way outside, and the count's even at 1 ball, 1 strike. Huge chance for the Otters here to really state their dominance defensively and get out of this tough situation. Bases are loaded with 1 out to Clint Hardy. The 1-1 pitch towards him is on the way home. Swinging strike 2 on a slider that worked away. Big strike to get for Jacob Bowles. So Clint Hardy now steps back in. Behind in the count at 1-2. A must get out for Jacob Bowles. And here comes the 1-2. Swinging strike 3. It's a German-American Bank strikeout for Jacob Bowles. Very important there, as it's good for out number 2. It's the 4th strikeout of the day by the Otters. First one for Bowles. It'll bring up Alec Craig. Craig on the day, grounded into a double play, grounded right back to the pitcher, and walked. This time the bases are loaded with 2 outs. Otters just need 1 out to get themselves out of this difficult situation. Bowles takes his time looking in. Still looking in. Finally nods home. The first pitch to Alec Craig on the way. Called strike 1 right down the middle. Bowles goes ahead and attacks the strike zone with the first pitch. And now time is called as a fan lost the baseball over the wall yet again on that third base side. It's tossed out of play, and we're ready to go with the 0-1 to Alec Craig. 2 outs, bases loaded, bottom of the 7th inning. Game tied at 3. The 0-1 to Alec Craig. Called strike 2, another pitch that attacked the zone. That one worked a little higher and a little more inside, but still right in the sweet spot of the strikeout zone. And Bowles takes a commanding 0-2 lead. Taking his time, looking in. Nods home, and time is called by Craig at home plate. Davidson stands on first, Hart at second, Milazzo at third. But Jacob Bowles just cares about 1 man, and that's Alec Craig at the plate. An 0-2 count towards him with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. And here comes the 0-2 pitch. Way outside. Craig won't bite at it. That one didn't seem to be very tempting for Craig, as it was quite a ways outside, and Felix even set up way out there. But Bowles is still ahead in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Alec Craig. Nods in towards home. Toes at the rubber, and here comes the 1-2 to Alec Craig. Pushed out towards the left field line. Long run for Davis, and it ends up just foul. I tell you what, that was foul by about 6 inches, and it certainly saved 2 runs for the Boomers. A huge opportunity loss for Schaumburg. And after being saved by a foul ball there, Bowles has to get this out. Kudos are due. J.R. Davis made a long run and was just shy of grabbing that ball. Had it stayed in fair territory, I think he would have been there in time. But again, it's all what ifs right now. 2 outs, bases loaded. Bottom of the 7th inning. Jacob Bowles just needs 1 strike on Alec Craig. Long look in towards home. Nods at his catcher, Felix. The 1-2 on the way to Alec Craig. Push right back up the middle. Khalil will play it into his glove. Step on second, and the inning ends. Evansville gets out of a tough situation. We've played 7, still tied at 3 here from Schaumburg. I tell you what, don't go anywhere. This one is getting exciting.
Cheer up, Evan. This rain will be out soon. You should download the 14 First Alert app and see for yourself. You can see what's coming up to 7 days in advance, or you can break it down hour by hour. Check out live radar so you can see what's happening in real time. And you can watch 14 News live directly from the app. See, there's nothing to worry about.
Stay in the game with the 14 First Alert app.
Top of the 8th. Boy, what a game we've had on our hands this evening. The perfect way to end this series. Boy, have these two teams been fun to watch. Play each other all year long. George Khalil making his way to the plate. His first at-bat of the game for the Otters. He came in to replace Miles Gordon after he was tossed in the 6th inning. He switched to shortstop, and that started a whole chain of movement. First pitch in, stays low for ball 1 for George Khalil. Khalil had the unfortunate fact of collecting the golden sombrero last night. 4 strikeouts to his name. The 1-0 here falls into the zone with the off speed, and the count's evened up at 1 ball, 1 strike for him. A 1-1 for George Khalil. Swinging strike 2 on a slider that broke away from him. That was a great pitch from Christian Scott. The 1-2 way inside. Did it hit him? Yes, it did. George Khalil given first base on a hit by pitch. So that'll bring up the third baseman, Anthony Torellis, who's 0 for 3 on the day with a strikeout, a foul out, and a fly out. First pitch to Torellis as the third baseman plays significantly in. Torellis showing bunt all the way. Pitch comes zooming in inside for ball 1. He was able to pull away in time. Long wait before the 1-0. To Torellis, the pitch broke low and outside. The slider couldn't hang in the zone long enough. Might have been a curveball, actually, now that they popped up the speed at 79. Again, really glad that you are spending time with your Otters on this beautiful Thursday evening. The 2-0. Torellis leaves it alone for a called strike, and he kind of winced as soon as it came home. He knew it right away. Otters have gotten their leadoff man on for the 4th time tonight. But every time they've got their leadoff man on, they have not been able to bring him around. The 2-1 to Torellis. He shows bunt the whole way. It goes to the left side. They go for the lead runner at second. And they say that Khalil is safe. No, now they're saying he's out. At first they were saying that the ball came out of the glove, but then they said out. So Khalil's out on the force out there at second. They just can't turn two, so Torrellis will reach on the fielder's choice. Officially 5-6 on the fielder's choice. That brings up Justin Felix for the first time this evening. He subbed in for Brody Tanksley in the bottom half of the seventh as a defensive substitution. Felix did not play last night either. He did play in the opening night of the series, 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts and a pop-out. The throw over to first, and Torrellis is back in plenty of time. Runner on first, 1 out. Sure feels like we're at the part of this game where the next run wins. I know I've said that a couple of times. The first pitch to Justin Felix. Called strike right down the middle. Torrellis got a really good jump over there at first just to keep himself about a third of the way towards second. There's an arm warming up for the Boomers out in right field. I believe it is Juan Pichardo, the lefty. An 0-1. And first they're going to go check on Torrellis again. And he slides in plenty of time to stay safe over at first. 0-1 count for Justin Felix. Still waiting on his second pitch. He'll get it this time. The 0-1 hits him on the left shoulder. And another hit by pitch in this inning. Now has runners at first and second, with the second baseman Andy Armstrong making his way to the plate. Armstrong has 2 hits on the game, both of them singles. He's 2 for 2, as his other opportunity was a sacrifice bunt. And I won't lie, I could certainly see a sacrifice bunt here as well. It would be difficult for the Otters having to do work with 2 outs, but it would have both runners in scoring position with 2 outs. I do reckon that Cos Canella will probably play in quite a bit over there at third base to avoid Andy Armstrong trying to bunt for a base hit. Torrellis out at second, Felix over at first. There's 1 out here for the Otters in the top of the 8th. Third baseman Canella is not playing in right now as Armstrong heads to the plate. Christian Scott Reddy's on the mound. The first pitch to Andy Armstrong. He takes inside for ball 1. It was a nice slider there thrown by Scott, but it never really got the good curve into the zone. 1-0 to Armstrong. Again, a pitch inside. That was the fastball, 95. Hard to believe it came that fast, but it was well inside, and he asked for clarification from Dominic Longbucco behind home plate. The home plate umpire says, yes, indeed, it was inside. Runners on first and second. A 2-0 count to Andy Armstrong. And 1 out here in the top of the 8th. The 2-0 sent chopping foul to the left side, and the new third base coach, Bobby Siegel, makes a nice one-handed grab and tosses it into his dugout. Siegel taking over coaching third for the headman Andy McCauley, who was tossed alongside Miles Gordon in the top of the 6th on a controversial caught stealing call out at second. 2-1, headed home to Andy Armstrong. He pushes it foul to the right side, and his count evens up at 2-2. And with that last swing, Augie Gallardo will start to warm up for the Otters in the left field bullpen. Felix at first, Torrellis at second. There's 1 out for Andy Armstrong, who's looking at a 2-2 count. Elijah McNamee stands on deck. The 2-2 to Armstrong. Let it go outside. The slider just ran away from the zone, and Armstrong has himself a full count. Well, it's time for the new biggest pitch of the game. This could have huge implications for whether the Otters are able to snag a lead. The 3-2 to Armstrong. Fouled back towards the backstop, and will have to do it again. Just about every Otter walking around down there in their dugout is kind of shuffling back and forth between their feet. A lot of anxious bodies. 1 out, runners on first and second. A 3-2 payoff pitch to Andy Armstrong. Put out towards right field, shallow right field, chasing back is Davidson, and he makes a catch over his shoulder for out number 2. That was a hard play for him, but it hung up in the air just long enough. So with 2 outs and 2 on, the right fielder Elijah McNamee heads to the plate. He's 2 for 4 with 2 singles in this game thus far. Big hit Mac with a huge opportunity to live up to that name. Torrella stands off second, Felix off of first. There's 2 outs. The Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game, Elijah McNamee at the plate. Game still tied at 3 runs apiece. First pitch home to McNamee. Called strike right down the middle. Looked like McNamee was taking the whole way. Gallardo continues to warm up for the Otters out there in left field. Pichardo continues to warm up for the Boomers out in right. An 0-1 is making its way towards McNamee. Big curveball almost got him in the helmet. He had to kind of dive backwards out of the way. So with it, his count evens up at 1 ball, 1 strike. Long wait on the bump by Scott. He's ready to go on the 1-1 and sends it towards McNamee, who foul tips it into the glove of Odo. The Otters are down to their potential last pitch of the half inning. If the Otters left both these men stranded, it would be 10 stranded runners in this game, matching the amount they had last night. 1-2 the count to Elijah McNamee. With runners on first and second, 2 outs. The pitch coming home. Sent on the ground towards Solis at second. He'll toss the second for the 1 out. And that'll do it for the top of the 8th. Otters leave 2 on base. And with it, we head to the bottom half of the 8th, still tied at 3 runs apiece. You have a few moments to breathe easy. We've got the bottom half of the 8th coming at you next on the Otters Digital Network.
Listen up, Evansville Otter fans. Right now, about 100,000 people nationwide are waiting for a life-saving transplant. That's enough people to fill Bosse Field 19 times. And by the time this game ends, 15 people will be added to the national transplant waiting list. Did you also know that if your favorite player injures his ACL, a tissue transplant could provide a complete recovery and put him back in the game? Join the team, be a hero, save a life. Sign up to be an organ donor at donatelifeindiana.org.
To the bottom of the 8th we go here on the Otters Digital Network. Pleased you're joining us for an exciting edition of Otters Baseball. Here as they conclude the 3-game set and series set with the Schaumburg Boomers here at Wintrust Field in Schaumburg, Illinois. Jacob Bowles returns on the mound for the Otters. No other changes for the Otters either. They're going to face William Salas, Nick Odo, and Cos Canella in this bottom half of the 8th. We're still tied at 3 runs apiece. Evansville out hitting the Boomers 10-4. First pitch to William Salas on the way home. Just misses outside for ball 1. And I am noticing that the scoreboard no longer has an error in the category for the Otters. I'm wondering if they took that error away from Zach Bierman. Official scoring still says he has one, so I'm going to trust that instead. A 1-0 is swung on and missed. A huge slider just ran away from Salas. The count evens up at 1-1 strike. We are going to start to take a look through the Fox Sports WYFX Frontier League scoreboard yet again. 1-1 to William Salas. Swinging strike 2. He was way out in front of the off speed there. Waiting on the 1-2 to William Salas. Pitch finally coming home. It's outside, let alone long enough to even the count at 2-2. We have a final from Quebec as the Capitals win 12-2 in 7 innings. Wondering what caused that game to only be 7 as they didn't play another game today. A 2-2 to William Salas. Sent on the ground to the left side. Tough play for Torellis, and turns out it was foul right before it got to him anyway, so it will not matter. Looks like the game was called in the 7th due to lightning and rain in the area. Thereas the Capitals win a 12-2 game in Quebec City. 2-2 the count for William Salas. Pitch on the way towards him. Stays just a hair inside, and it's a full count now. In the top of the 9th, the Lake Erie Crushers lead Joliet 6-0. Slammers down to the last 2 outs. A 3-2 to William Salas. Big pitch here as we start off the bottom of the 8th. A payoff pitch. Swinging strike 3. And the slider earns Jacob Bowles his 2nd German American Bank strikeout of the game. Now Nick Odo will head to the plate. 0 for 3 on the day. In the top of the 8th, in the battle for the Garden State, the New Jersey Jackals have a 5-3 lead over Sussex County, trying to win their first game of the 3-game set. Extra innings needed in Trois-Rivières. Ottawa currently leads 9-8 after scoring 1 here with the ghost runner in the 10th inning. First pitch to Nick Odo. Stays a bit inside for ball 1. At the bottom of the 6th in game 2 of their doubleheader, Windy City holding a 1-0 lead against the Florence Yalls. And we just went final in Gateway. The Grizzlies win 4-2 over the Washington Wild Things. A 1-0 to Nick Odo. Stays just a bit low now. Bulls just starting to paint around the zone. And the count falls out to 2-0 in favor of Nick Odo. The 2-0 is a called strike 1. The slider rang in at 85, but it looked like maybe 70. It really slowed down on its way into the home plate area. Defense playing straight up all the way around for Nick Odo as he steps back up looking at a 2-1. Bowles sends it his direction. It's sitting down the first base line, but foul. Will end up in the bullpen of the Boomers. The count's evened up at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bowles already ready up on the bump. Odo stepping back in now. Counts evened up at 2 balls, 2 strikes. And it's on the way home. Sent out towards right field, down for a base hit. Long run for Baez. He picks it up. The throw towards second. Be a close play. No, it was cut off. So it's a sliding in double for Nick Odo with 1 out. He took advantage of the placement of that ball. It took a while for Baez to get there. By the time the throw in came, almost to second already was Odo, and he's got himself a 1 out double. Cos Canella heads to the plate, 1 for 3 on the day with an RBI double. Back in the third. Looks like we're going to get a pinch runner out there at second base. Jordan Wiley is out there. Subs in for Nick Odo. First pitch home to Cos Canella. It's taken for a called strike 1. Again, Jordan Wiley, the new runner, out there at second. An 0-1 headed home towards Cos Canella. It's way outside. A good stop by Felix to keep the count even at 1-1. Augie Gallardo once again hopping up and throwing for the Otters in the left field pen. I'd imagine if there was one more base hit or man getting on, that would probably end the day for Jacob Bowles, though it is hard to tell exactly. 1 on, 1 out, and a 1-1 count to Cos Canella. Bowles really taking his time looking in towards home. Now here comes the 1-1. Slider worked outside, and Bowles falls behind in the count, 2-1. Reminder, tomorrow night, Washington Wild Things come to Evansville. Otters will head back there as well. 6:35 first pitch from Bosse Field. A 2-1. Falls just a bit low. Man, it was a good pitch from Jacob Bowles. It was competitive near the zone. Canella didn't offer at it. It stayed low enough that it was left alone for ball 3. A 3-1 count now. Bowles nods in agreement with his catcher, Felix. Here comes the 3-1. Too far inside. Oh, now it's a very late called strike. My goodness. Dominic Longbucco waited a long time to call that a strike. And as you can hear, the boos will rain down. (3-2) the count towards Cos Canella. This would be a big out for Jacob Bowles. Runner on second is Jordan Wiley, the pinch runner. A payoff pitch. Way outside, and it's a walk for Canella. There's runners on first and second with just 1 out. And out comes Max Peterson. A look down towards his bullpen. See if this does it for Jacob Bowles. Now we have the sign down. A pitching change needed for the Otters. We'll let you know more about it right after this here on the Otters Digital Network. There's runners on first and second with 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th for the Boomers.
Cheer up, Evan. This rain will be out soon. You should download the 14 First Alert app and see for yourself. You can see what's coming up to 7 days in advance, or you can break it down hour by hour. Check out live radar so you can see what's happening in real time. And you can watch 14 News live directly from the app. See, there's nothing to worry about.
Stay in the game with the 14 First Alert app.
Still sitting here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And Augie Gallardo called upon by the Otters, making his first appearance since last week's series against Schaumburg. He pitched in the final game of that series last Thursday, gave up 1 run on 1 hit in 1 inning of work. He'll look to keep this game exactly where it's at, with 1 out and runners on first and second. This call to the bullpen is presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. Gallardo on the mound, Felix behind the plate. The pitcher-catcher battery is sponsored by The Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at The Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road. Or give them a call at 812-475-9000. Let them know that Augie Gallardo sent you their way. There's runners at first and second with 1 out, as the leadoff man, Chase Dawson, heads to the plate. Dawson is 1 for 3 on the day with a single and a walk to his name. First pitch, high outside, ball 1. Good leads at both first and second for the Boomers runners. The 1-0's coming home to Dawson. That one's a little closer, but it's still high and outside for ball 2. Wiley with a good lead at second. Canella with a good lead at first. The 2-0 pitch coming home towards Dawson. Lifted high, foul, and straight back behind home plate. Out of play for strike 1. Defense has shifted just a tad to the right. Quite a bit to the right out in the outfield. There's a huge gap in left center field. A 2-1 to Dawson. Inside, gets away from Felix for a second, but he's able to keep it close enough. But the count falls to 3-1 to Chase Dawson. Chase Dawson, who has had the E in his first name switched to a 3 in most graphics, thanks to all of the triples he's hit this year. 17 to be exact. It's a new single season record for the Frontier League. He has been exceptional. 3-1 to Dawson. Sent sharply towards Armstrong at second. To second for 1. To first. In time. And the Otters get out of the inning. We go to the 9th. Still tied at 3. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome to a place that feels like home. A place that cares about all of you. Built to help you grow in more ways than you can possibly imagine. To make new friends, travel new paths, soar to new heights, and deepen your spiritual experience. Welcome to Oakland City University.
Listen up, Evansville Otter fans. Right now, about 100,000 people nationwide are waiting for a life-saving transplant. That's enough people to fill Bosse Field 19 times. And by the time this game ends, 15 people will be added to the national transplant waiting list. Did you also know that if your favorite player injures his ACL, a tissue transplant could provide a complete recovery and put him back in the game? Join the team, be a hero, save a life. Sign up to be an organ donor at donatelifeindiana.org.
Well, I hope you caught your breath there in the short break. A pitching change done by Schaumburg. The lefty Juan Pichardo will enter the game. This call to the bullpen is presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. Pichardo on the mound, Odo behind the plate. The Pitcher Catcher Battery is sponsored by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road. Give them a call at 812-475-9000. 19th appearance for Pichardo. He's given up 18 runs on 25 hits in his 23 innings of work, but he does have 30 strikeouts to his name. He's clocking a .665 ERA as we enter the game. He's going to face Zach Bierman, J.R. Davis, and Steven Sinsley. At this point, the Otters just need one. Tied at 3, top of the 9th. First pitch to Bierman. A half swing, and it stays low for ball 1. And it actually looks like there might be a new catcher behind the plate. Indeed there is. Blake Grant Parks has checked in as the man behind the plate. Next pitch stays low for 2-0. Blake Grant Parks in the game now. The 2-0 to Bierman. Launched out towards center field. Chasing back is Milazzo. He's parked underneath it and brings it in for out number 1. It's probably 10 feet in front of the warning track. Bierman didn't quite get a hold of it enough. That'll bring up the left fielder J.R. Davis, who is 2 for 3 with 2 singles, 2 RBIs, and a walk in the game. Steven Sinsley is to follow him. So at this point, you just want to get J.R. Davis on. First pitch to Davis. It's a called strike at the low edge. Otters have played this game since the 6th inning without their center fielder Miles Gordon and manager Annie McCauley. Both were tossed due to a controversial play at second. Ball sent on the ground towards shortstop. Craig on 2 hops. The throw to first is in time to retire J.R. Davis. And the Otters are down to their last out here in the 9th. Steven Sinsley at the plate with an 0 for 4 day so far. 2 strikeouts, a flyout, and a fielder's choice. He did reach on the fielder's choice, but was stranded at first. And on his fielder's choice, it just wasn't quite hit hard enough to allow McNamee to reach home with the bases loaded. How different this game would be right now if that pitch did end up getting hit hard enough back up the middle and allowing McNamee to score. Sinsley's first pitch on the way. Called strike right at the elbows on the outside edge. Logan Sawyer is up and ready to throw for the Otters in the left field pen. It looks like he's waiting to warm up to see what happens here with the pitch to Sinsley. An 0-1, and it's a called strike on the low outside corner. The pitch brought back up into the zone by Grant Parks. Good frame job there. And the Otters down to their last strike in the top of the 9th. The game's still tied at 3. 0-2 coming home to Sinsley. It's fouled away towards the dugout of Schaumburg, and Sinsley will live to see another pitch. Sinsley, one of just 2 Otters with double-digit home runs this year. He hit his 10th just 2 nights ago. The 0-2 headed towards him, way outside, ball 1. He's able to lay off it. Sinsley entered the game batting 1 and 2. 1-2 towards him is outside. And Sinsley has the deuces wild in front of him. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. A little bit of a shift to the right side in the infield for Sinsley. The 2-2 outside, and after an 0-2 count to Sinsley, Pichardo's thrown 3 straight balls to the outside, and Sinsley says, you know what, I'm not going to chase out there. And we've got a full count. Steven Sinsley looking for his first base hit of the game. A 3-2 towards him. A half swing, yes he did go, and the Otters sat down in order in the 9th. We head to the bottom half of the 9th where the Schaumburg Boomers could walk it off. Otters need to find some defense quickly to keep this game where it's at. Well, it all comes down to this. Bottom of the 9th, Augie Gallardo and the Otters retake the field defensively. And they're just looking for 3 outs to extend this one into the international tiebreaker. Otters have been walked off against twice this year. Both of them came on the road a couple of weeks ago. One at Florence, one at Lake Erie. They're trying to avoid that same fate. Brett Milazzo, Mike Hart, and Braxton Davidson due up here in the half inning. The first pitch to Brett Milazzo on the way. Called strike on the outside edge. Augie Gallardo attacking with a fastball first pitch. Gallardo ready for the 0-1 to Brett Milazzo. Pitch on the way. A little further outside, and this one evens the count at 1 ball, 1 strike. Defense is playing straight up all the way around with both infielders holding tight to their respective lines, trying to limit base hits to just 1 base. A 1-1 to Brett Milazzo. Called strike 2 on the outside edge. Milazzo can't believe it. And it seems the Wintrust Fields fans agree with him. Takes the count to 1-2 for Brett Milazzo. Big pitch from Augie Gallardo. Big curveball swung on and missed, caught by Felix. And it's a swinging strike 3 for a German American Bank strikeout to kick off the 9th. The first one of the game for Augie Gallardo. That'll bring up Mike Hart, who is 1 for 2 in the game. A single and 2 walks, all coming after his strikeout in the first. The first pitch to Mike Hart on the way. Big slider came to the inside edge for a called strike. Gallardo is known to have a slider that can clock in over 3,500 rotations a minute. The 1-0. Sent towards the outside edge, and it's fouled away, way over the concourse to the third base side, and it's an 0-2 count. The scoreboard shows 1-1, but it's certainly an 0-2. Hart ready at the plate. Gallardo fires home on the 0-2. Big slider just missed on the outside edge. It looks like a slider, but it has the speed of a really slow curveball. So it's now a 1-2 count. Another big slider on the outside edge and another ball. The count's evened up at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Scoreboard still shows 3-1. It's actually a 2-2. 2-2 to Hartz. Again outside, and the count's full. And there goes the runner. It was a 2-2. And now Max Peterson is starting to say, hey, that's a 2-2. Should be a full count now. But the home plate umpire lost count. So the umpires are going to meet now. And the Otters might have just had a runner put on first because the scoreboard showed the wrong thing. Very frustrating for Evansville. We'll see what the umpires decide. Still meeting there in the infield. They've concluded their talks. And they're giving the runner first base. And Max Peterson has every right to be upset here. A 2-2 count and a ball was thrown. Should be a full count. And they're giving him first base. That could be a huge point in this game. And whatever Max Peterson must have done the trick, because now they'll bring the runner back. That's what should be happening right now. They're going to boo here at Wintrust Field, but that's the right call. We kept the count up here. The correct count is 2-2. The scoreboard just had it at 3-1. So now having to go retrieve his bat yet again is Mike Hart. The count is full for him with 1 out. To be honest with you, the Otters might have just dodged a huge bullet because that could have come back to haunt them in an awful way. Good work from Max Peterson to stay on top of that. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Mike Hart with 1 out. Gallardo needs to combat it right here. The 3-2. Called strike 3. Perfect way to bounce back there for Augie Gallardo. And it's 2 up, 2 down. There will be some disagreement here within Wintrust Field, and I understand that. That is the right call. They did things the right way there. Would have been even more heartbreaking to see the Otters lose because a runner was on because of a scoreboard operator misclick, I guess, down there on the scoreboard. Braxton Davidson up with the bases empty and 2 outs. The first pitch to him is a called strike on the high inside corner. Gallardo ready on the mound for the 0-1. Davidson's already stepped in and waiting. An 0-1 pitch on the way home. Fouled right back into the netting. And the Boomers are down to their last strike in the bottom of the 9th. The game's still tied at 3 runs apiece. Otters playing with a heavy shift to the right side as Gallardo throws home the 0-2 to Braxton Davidson. Launched out towards right field. McNamee's going to watch it fly. It's a walk-off home run for the Schaumburg Boomers. A no-doubter walk-off home run has given the Boomers the 4-3 win. And for the 3rd time this season, the Otters have been walked off against. This one to conclude the 3-game set here in Schaumburg. A 4-3 win for the Boomers. It all started with the Otters getting the first run of the game in the 1st inning. They did it on an RBI fielder's choice from J.R. Davis directly after a 1-out triple from Zach Bierman. But in the 3rd inning, The Boomers bounce back with 3 runs of their own. The first one coming on an RBI double from Canella, the next on an RBI walk from Davidson, and the final on a sac fly RBI from Clint Hardy. Then in the 5th, the Otters tied the game at 3 runs apiece with RBI singles from Bierman and Davis as a part of 5 straight singles for the Otters. The game then remained at 3-3 all the way here to the bottom of the 9th before Braxton Davidson hit his second home run of the series. This one a walk-off, no-doubter home run to right field. It gave the Boomers a 4-3 win. The loss is going to go to Augie Gallardo. The win to Juan Pichardo. And the Otters will have a really tough luck loss here. With the loss, the Otters dropped to 33-21 and dropped 2 straight games here to end the quick little 3-game road trip. We'll take a look around the Fox Sports WIFX Frontier League scoreboard. Again, this morning, the New York Boulders defeated Tri-City 21-4. And also this morning, Windy City defeated Florence 5-4 in game 1 of their doubleheader. Lake Erie ended up beating Joliet 6-2 there at Lake Erie. And in 7 innings, due to rain, the Quebec Capitalists defeated Empire State 12-2. In the top of the 9th as we speak, Sussex County down to their last 2 outs, down 6-4 at New Jersey. And the final in 10 innings, Trois-Rivières walks off Ottawa 12-10 in the bottom of the 10th. At Gateway, the Grizzlies defeat Washington 4-2. And Windy City is currently up 1-0 in the 8th inning against Florence here as they conclude their evening tonight. And finally here in Schaumburg, Braxton Davidson walks off the game for Schaumburg with a no-doubt home run to right field. Otters had their chance plenty of times in this game, but couldn't quite do enough to win this one. Don't forget that Evansville has a huge series this weekend against the top team in the West. Of course, with Washington's loss as well, the Otters will remain 1 game back in the West Division, and they'll have a chance to take a lead in the West going into the All-Star break with a 3-game set at home against the Washington Wild Things. I'm sure I speak for all the Otters that we would love to see you in attendance at Bosse Field this weekend. 6:35 first pitch both tomorrow night and Saturday night with a 5:05 first pitch on Sunday. Should be a fun weekend with girls' night at the ballpark tomorrow night, Star Wars night on Saturday night, and a Bark at the Park on Sunday. For all of us here at the Evansville Otters, I want to say thank you for tuning in to Evansville Otters Baseball on the Otters Digital Network. Sure glad you spent your Thursday evening with us here from Wintrust Field in Schaumburg, Illinois. Once more, the Otters fall in this one 4-3 on a walk-off home run by Braxton Davidson. Otters are back in action tomorrow night at home against the Washington Wild Things. For all of us here at the Evansville Otters, I'm Matthew Wills saying so long for the final time from Wintrust Field in Schaumburg.